Everybody knows nothing is happening. I don't know what I like yet.
Yeah, we are.
The suspense is killing me.
Okay. If we're live, then I'm ready to go.
We is.
Hey, all you cool cats and kittens! It's us from Storm Giant Games. Oh, it worked. The wood slide worked. I don't know if we're live. I don't know if it's working because I can't check my own shit. I was running everyone else's stuff with Logan this weekend, and it was a lot of fun getting to meet everyone in the Discord and on all of their streams. We had no idea what the hell we were doing like 4 days ago with any of it, and obviously we still don't because we're not live right now. But it was cool meeting everyone. We're going to run a little bit of a game from a thing that we've been writing called Nothing Ever Happens at the Looking Glass. It's a setting and adventure. The first issue is, at least. That's kind of going to grow over time. We ran the first half of it with this group as playtesting, everyone but Quentin. And we're going to run the second half now, and we'll just see what happens. I'm fried. Logan's fried. These other people are quarantined. It's just, we don't know. We don't know what's going to happen. I don't know if it's enjoyable or not. I can't figure out how to even see the Twitch chat, even though I was teaching people how to do that all weekend. So I just don't care anymore. Yeah, Magnus Big Toes looking out the window. So let's just intro ourselves. I'm going to start. My name's Remy. I'm the DM for this thing. The end. Let's introduce our characters and maybe even who we are as people, or how you feel in your heart. Logan, who are you?
I'm Logan. I feel in my heart really tired from this weekend. And in today's one shot, I'm playing a goblin rogue named Trogadoink.
Can everyone practice? Hold on. Can everyone practice saying that name really quick?
Trogadoink.
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 There we go.
Nice.
Okay. Last time we had Trazodone, Tramadol, a bunch of different medications. So we want to remember Trogadoink.
Trazepine.
Is that it, Logan?
That's it. That's it.
All right, Athalia, you want to introduce yourself and your character, Andrew, that you'll be playing?
Yeah, my name's Andrew. Athalia was actually a character I created about 5 years ago and played for a while, and she turned evil, committed suicide, rather than die by the blade of her own party, but we've resurrected her for this one shot. So I'm really glad to have her back because it was my first character death.
Yeah, really extremely edgy stuff here.
This is going to be one of the edgier things you've seen this weekend, probably. All right, Magnus, let's have you. First of all, also, can we have a little explanation as to what everyone's chewing on and spitting out?
These are sunflower seeds.
Okay.
It's so I don't eat too many snacks while I play, because I tend to stress eat while I play.
Magnus, what about you?
Bear root.
Hey, okay, bear root.
Yeah, good for
medicinal. That's good.
Yeah, in the lungs.
All right, Magnus, why don't you tell me and the family who the hell are you?
Well, I'm a dwarf, and I'm pretty angry about killing things and people. And my backstory is a long lineage of other fighters that just really hated people and killing things. So we kill things because we're confused at life.
Great.
But, here we are, and it's going to be a good one. And in my heart, I'm feeling lots of joy. I like touching people, and I've not been doing any of that for a long time, and it's getting harder.
It is getting harder for all of us. Yes.
So
cool.
Yeah,
And
I'm also a noob. If anybody's watching, so
moderate noob. We've been playing with Shelby, Andrew, and Logan, and I have been playing together for years now. And Quentin's one of our newest members of our table, and he's just really doing a stellar job. I mean, we got D&D audited by someone from Wizards of the Coast, and they came through and they gave us the C+, so that was pretty good.
Yeah, they gave a couple gold stars.
Yeah, they gave a C+ and a gold star. Andrew got the double feather, which was good.
Wait, what did I do?
Shelby, do you want to talk to us about yourself and briefly about Druella? We'll explain what the characters look like and stuff once we get into the adventure.
My name is Shelby. I'm a regular girl from Ohio. And I am playing I'm playing a turtle bard. And man, her name is Druella. And she's a fun time. She wants to have fun. She's hanging out. She's here.
She's from the Bronx.
Ready to go, you know?
All right, so a little bit about the setting, just to be clear, and just to like cast it up to where we're going to start off, is that nothing ever happens at the Looking Glass. The first issue, which you can get at stormgiantgames.com, is about it's about a bar in between the planes. It is similar to some bars in between the planes you may have heard of from earlier editions, or other adventures you've heard of from earlier editions that are no longer supported and no longer have stuff coming out to them. And we wanted more, so we made it. So the Looking Glass is a bar that you can enter into from any place, any plane, any world that you might be playing in. And once you come into this bar, and Magnus wasn't here for our first time of playing, when you first enter this bar, so for this group, they were actually running someone down, after a Cambion who was wreaking havoc in a small town, and they'd run across this mucky field and ended up finding this outhouse that was sitting there, and that was the only thing in the area. And they opened the door of the outhouse, and this eerie mist just like billowed out of the door of the outhouse with laughter and distant talking and kind of like mechanical music like tinkling out from the doorway as they're standing outside of this outhouse, and they plunged inside. Upon coming inside, they're in this long hallway, and overhead it was just stars, like a nighttime of stars over them with meteors streaking across the sky, forward and away from them. And on the walls of this hallway were these amber shelves, these glowing sort of amber-looking shelves that held all sorts of strange trinkets and oddities. They've been collected by the bar's owner from planes and worlds far and wide for a really long time. And Trogodoink at that time tried to grab one of those things. He tried to grab an item off of one of those walls, and magically his arms and legs disappeared from his body as he tried to grab it. He turned into a little stump of a goblin man onto the ground and got carried in a backpack into the bar. They went into the bar to see people of all different sorts. This big open place. Actually, I should probably just go ahead and share the map of the Looking Glass. So this is the hallway where they entered, and they came in and they saw this crazy place with all of these things hanging on the walls, all of these weird items, unrecognizable curios from all over the place, and these strange tables that were just packed with people of different sorts. At the bar, they saw a group of people all kind of like huddled around the edge, a group of goblins that were drinking out of this big bowl, this orange steaming liquid, all plunging straws in and drinking it at once. They saw an ogre and a drow fighting in one corner, celestials, devils, people of all sorts filling this bar. And they kind of timidly made their way over to the bar and ordered a drink, one of those big bowls. It's called a slammer. And as they're drinking this drink, they were approached by a small gnome. Let me see if I can find him. Where is he? There he is, a small gnome named Kaj. They had also met this guy. This is the bartender, Aziza. This is some of the art from the book. But they had met Aziza. Aziza was the one who, with his stern and deep voice, served them their drinks. And they met this little guy, Kaj, who had told them that he lost the love of his life in one of the doors in the shifting halls. What are the shifting halls, we might ask? In the back of the bar, in the back of the Looking Glass, there's a series of maze-like hallways that expands into infinity. And these hallways criss and cross, and doors and portals can lead you to anywhere in the cosmos, anywhere in the multiverse. But one of the problems is that if you are not consciously, if someone is not consciously paying attention to one of these doors, they'll disappear and shift to a different place as if they've never been there before, as if they were never there to begin with. And he had one time, long ago, before many adventures, found his way into a Fey Glade and met a beautiful Fey princess in this Fey Glade, and he's never been able to find the door since. Kaj is awkward and uncool, and nobody at the bar likes him, and he wanted some help from the crew to maybe find his way back to the store. So the party stumbled around looking for someone who may know something about the Fae, and they met Trista and Wairu, two Fae beekeepers who were sitting at one of the tables on the side. Trista and Wairu said, "Hey, we can show you back to that door. That's actually where we're from." Speaking in unison, speaking strangely, as long as you're willing to do something for us. And what they wanted you guys to do was to prank a devil. They wanted you to put a couple petals of a noon drop flower into a devil's drink so that he would float up to the ceiling, burping and belching soap bubbles out of his mouth, because they're tricky, mischievous Fae. They had a motive of their own, it seems, though, because as this was accomplished by the party and the devil, Searoth, floated up to the ceiling, kind of bounced off the rafters, burping these up, the two Fae snatched up the devil's bag and disappeared back into the shifting halls. You guys were pissed. Searoth was pissed that he'd been tricked. He started fighting. He's hurling flames from the ceiling, shouting and yelling, and as will happen in a weird interplanar bar, everybody got lit. They all went nuts. Everyone started fighting, throwing things. Other people were throwing things at the devil, until slamming sound echoed through the room, and Aziza, the bartender, stopped the fight. His two iron golems by the door straightened up and came over to kick you out. I'm just doing this in depth because it's been a long time since we do it. I want to make sure you guys remember where you're at. And just as you were about to be apprehended by these iron golems and kicked out into a random plane in the shifting halls at the back of the bar, he was stopped by the last person we'll meet for now, Akra. She came up to the bar and said, Aziza, these are my friends. They came here to meet me. I'm so sorry. They didn't know the rules. They didn't know they shouldn't fight in your bar. I need to talk to them. I'll cover it. Don't worry. And Aziza begrudgingly let you over into Akra's hands. After going and sitting at one of the booths with Akra, you were sitting there in the booth, and she had other men there with you, her men that worked for her in the Diamond Dispatch, her brigade, and they're naked, essentially. Like, some of them were holding plates and pans. One guy was wearing a woman's fur coat, but none of their clothes seemed to fit or match. And these naked men had failed a mission. They'd failed Akra. They were supposed to go back into the shifting halls and deliver one item from one place to another. That's all they were supposed to do. And everybody got lit. Sam Button. Hey, Sam. So they were supposed to deliver something from one place to another. And they encountered some sort of creature back there. Something called a protoplasm. Some weird ooze-ish, partially see-through ooze creature that lives in these shifting halls. And it snatched up all of their stuff, including the thing they needed to deliver. And Akra thinks that the deal has been struck. She saved you from being kicked out. And she needs something done. So you're going to be the ones to do it. And you stepped up from where you were at her booth. This is our group here. We've got Magnus. This is supposed to be a twirl. Logan, who's the person who makes these tokens again?
2-minute tabletop.
2-minute tabletop. These are 2-minute tabletop tokens. There were no turtles, so we grabbed Fish Monster for Druella. So this is Quentin, Magnus Big Toe. This is Shelby, Druella. We've got Dragadoink the Goblin, who also kind of looks like Gene from Bob's Burgers in that shot. And then we've got Athalia, who I think I'll get in trouble for putting her in purple instead of black. So this group is now standing here in the bar. And hold on, to hide notifications from the Discord. So they're standing here in the bar. This is where the open area of the bar is, where Aziza is pacing back and forth and serving people. There is a general din amongst you. There are some people resting on these couches here in this main area. A large man with like a hippopotamus type head, wearing a yellow metallic suit, is laying on his back on the couch with his head draped over the side, drinking from a drink with a long straw. And a green flame kind of crackling in front of him. As you stand up from the bar, Akra has shown you that back here towards the back of the bar, this doorway will lead you into the shifting halls to hopefully find the creature who had stolen the item she needed delivered And the last thing that I'll remind you of is that there was a rat in a cage that was at the booth with her that she gave over to you. And she said, once you find this item, let the rat out. And the rat will help you find the place where that item needs to be delivered. So the rat has like a homing beacon of a nose that will take you to a place called the Misted Vale, where you are to finally deliver this item. And if you do this, not only will you be out of trouble, but she will help you find the Fey Glade for Kaj. So there's a lot of shit that happened. How are we feeling? Quentin, how confused are you?
Zero confusion.
Zero confusion. Druella, even though you played in that game, how much did you forget and how confused are you?
I forgot some of it, but I feel good now.
Okay, you changed from being from Boston to being from like Turkestan,
Russia?
Yeah. Athalia, how about you?
I generally forget everything, so thanks for the recap. What was the name of that devil I spoke to?
Zeroth.
I thought it was the girl devil.
No, Zeroth was the male. He was a devil. You kind of met up with him over here actually, and I forgot.
Yeah, we
about
had
that.
a sidebar.
Yeah, you want to recap that little side conversation you had with him?
Not really, because I don't remember it very
I can
well.
do it. So you went and spoke with Zeroth after the Fae, the two beekeepers had stolen his bag, and you were like, basically like, fuck those guys. I know you won over on them because they took your stuff, and I do too. And he had said that if you could go get his bag back, that he would give you 750 gold, actually.
That's right.
And you said, and maybe you could help me kill a man. And so that was kind of like a clause, like a potential clause on your deal with him. And you guys shook hands on it. So as the crowd's kind of like roiling around you and there's all of this movement, you see this big hippopotamus-headed character laying on a couch with his yellow armor on, people kind of pushing past you, strange curios on the wall. What are we doing, gang?
Who's in charge of carrying Trogodlink?
Trogodlink's limbs have actually been returned to him, so he can move himself at this point.
Oh,
good question. Good question. The bartender returned his limbs to him.
Well,
Yeah, and
after
then
a quick
warned
dance
us
with
about
Trogodlink.
stealing anything else.
He did.
Okay.
He said that's kind of there is a series of strange traps that can be triggered. So that's one of them. But
And we have the rat in hand.
you do. You have the rat in the cage. Who wants to be holding the rat in the cage? Who wants to be smashing pumpkins?
I'll hold the rat in the cage.
Okay, Athalia probably would be the one. It's a small white rat, kind of almost mangy, pink around the eyes and around the edge of its nose, really white, kind of a pinkish tail, and this black wrought iron cage, probably about this big, almost like a bird cage shape.
I hold the cage up, and I kind of pet its nose, and I ask, "Do you have a name, rat?"
It kind of scrunches back.
I look at Druella and I said, "It is."
Man, that's a good name. I'm cool with that one.
Okay,
All right.
good. The door is back behind that crescent-shaped table, right?
Yeah, it is. Yep.
Okay. Then Athalia is going to turn around and start heading towards the door.
All right. Anyone else? You guys want to go with her? We're doing this as a group.
Oh yeah, I'm going.
Yeah.
Druella, are you too big, Druella? Do you imagine yourself to be a giant sea monster?
No, I kind of thought I was much smaller.
All right, let's make you smaller. I imagine you being smaller too. There you are. You're like a little toad. So you guys, you strange group who doesn't look too strange in this place, you come back upon this back area. I'm gonna stop the share real quick so that I can read something. So as you approach this area, you notice that there are. Actually, I can change my share settings. Hold on. All right. So you see the map, eh? Do you still see the map? Yes, you do.
Hey.
All right, eh? So
Yeah, A.
Beyond the booths, clusters of armed adventurers stir in front of ornate circular windows set with slightly convex curved glass panes. Each of these windows shows an entirely different scene. You can kind of see the color like spilling out onto the ground from these windows. In one group, you see 3 blue-skinned individuals standing with their arms crossed and heads cocked, gazing through a window. And in that window, you see a woman who's crying on a grassy cliffside overlooking a rough sea. Another cluster of visitors, if you're typing, mute your microphone. Another cluster of visitors, can you share a list of the NPCs' names? Maybe, yeah, sure. You can ask me anybody's name. Andrew just asked me to share a list of the NPCs' names, but I don't have a list on hand. Another cluster of visitors shouts and cheers as they watch a group of half-orcs battle a Behir, a big blue lightning snake creature. Yeah, Magnus, what's up?
No, I was excited about the half-orcs.
Okay, so yeah, there you see this group of adventurers kind of all huddled around, looking into one of these windows like it's like a TV at a sports bar, and they're looking through it, and you see this group of half-orcs just charging up this snow hill, battling a Behir, this blue snake-like creature with lightning arcing out of its mouth, and a blast of lightning emanates from its mouth and chars one of the half-orcs, who flies off the edge of this snowy cliff. You see the snow just like kick off the edge of their heels as they're flying down.
Wow.
As that happens, the group of people who are watching this through the window all start arguing with each other. You see someone grab a bag of gold from another one. First one down, you lose. And they're all arguing, and they seem to be betting on this fight that they're watching through the window. This whole area by that back doorway is just bustling with activity, people looking through these windows and standing around this back door.
So Tragadoink, is there a special knock?
The doorway, actually, so as you approach this area, that doorway is just an arch. Actually, it's not a closed door. It's just an entryway, and it's kind of all just packed with people around here, though. You can just move through them and go back towards that archway if you'd like.
That's what I'm doing, weaseling through.
Ruella? Oh yeah.
These windows,
Mm-hmm.
are the images that are projecting through them, are they like constantly changing?
At the moment, each of the windows, each of these 6 windows that you can see, has their own scene that's kind of continuing out. It's almost like a really relatively like static movie kind of playing in each of them.
Okay.
But they're all different. Each window shows something different.
Very good.
Very good. All right, so we're moving towards the back door.
Yeah.
So as you all approach, I'm keeping you in the same psycho formation for some reason. As you all approach this back door, approaching the archway to the shifting halls is a dizzying sensation. A series of bridges and stairways seem to reflect each other at impossible angles, creating a lattice of suspended pathways around a large open dome. This network of routes bustles with crisscrossing activity as creatures of all types duck into and out of doorways and disappear down halls that warp and twist out of view. As you approach the archway, as if turning a kaleidoscope, these paths kind of like start folding in on themselves, flipping perspective and collapsing until right at the threshold of the door, like as you stand in the archway, boom, it's just one hall, one singular hallway in front of you that moves forward. A stone floor, sort of mosaic tile ceiling, doors on the outside edges, and it seems to be an intersection of halls up ahead of you. I'm going to stop the map because now we're off the map. We're moving down the halls. What do we want to do?
Okay, who's going first? I'm not going first. This looks weird.
Dragondoink, do you even know how to do this?
How to walk? Walk in a hallway? Yeah, I know how to do that.
That's a fair question.
How are we going to find this door?
Well, I'd like to make an investigation check for any like residue from this protoplasm on the walls, floor, ceiling.
First roll of the night. Give me an investigation check, Athalia.
Alright. I should get my dice out.
Just so everyone knows, Andrew will go away every time he rolls or looks at something else because he's using an iPad.
Yeah. 7.
So will I.
7. Okay, Athalia, describe your character visually real quick for us, just so everyone can see.
She's a half elf, probably like 5'11", fair skin, pitch black hair. She's probably she's not quite middle aged. She's younger. I can't remember what the like kind of scales are on elves and age, but she's less than middle age. She's a blood hunter by class, so she's just wearing like, you know, your typical studded armor. It's going to be like a charcoal gray and black in appearance. She's very dark and metalled. And
didn't she have corpse paint? Didn't she like wear corpse paint?
She's at various times bathed in blood, worn corpse paint, things like that. It just depends on her mood, who she killed recently, or who pissed her off.
This is Athalia is a perfect example. We had a stream earlier today that was how to play an evil character without being a jerk to your friends. And it was freaking awesome. It was really awesome. And Athalia is a good example of that. She's an evil character that's not a total pain in the ass. So
yeah, so you know, it's just a matter of motivations.
Yeah, it always is.
And she's pretty dry. There isn't a lot of like charm to her. She has like a very masculine demeanor. Very like her attitude towards men is usually pretty like blunt and short because she has daddy issues. Just stuff like that. So she's pretty standoffish. She's been a little bit warmer in this campaign, actually.
Yeah, she has.
It's probably
in this hallway. She kind of leans down, and the ground has these kind of wide tiles, these wide, flat, like almost like slate tiles. As you move forward down this hallway, it feels cool in here, and immediately upon entering it, the sound, the din of the bar kind of dissipates a little bit, as if you're hearing it now through almost like a rubber screen. It's kind of distorted all the sound of the people talking and shouting behind you. And Athalia bends over to look kind of in between the cracks of the tile, and you're just getting grime, sand, dirt, nothing that seems viscous or otherworldly or anything like that. One thing that you do notice, although you got a 7, is that actually like being a hunter of some sort and having a lot of experience with, at this point, looking for monsters or other people, trying to track people out in the wilderness, just the quality of the dirt and in between the tiles, it's different. It's like having a little bit of sand from the beach and a little bit of dirt from the woods and a little bit of sand from the deep desert, kind of all there combined. Yeah. Andrew, I saw you cross your fingers.
Could I do my investigation as a survival check instead of just a straight investigation?
Sure. You already rolled it.
Because I think I get advantage on that. So.
Oh, do you?
Yeah, I was reading my character sheet and I have some feature.
I believe you. I'll let you roll it. Yeah, go ahead and roll one more time and add your survival. Your survival.
Yeah, it's not any better, so don't worry about it.
Great. Well, then that's exactly what you see. That's exactly what you encounter. Magnus, as you come into this hallway, this kind of long, like kind of glowing from above, this hallway seems warmly lit and somewhat welcoming. The mosaic on the ceiling it has various images of it's kind of just like morphing colors and almost like a scene of sky around you. It's a really beautiful and welcoming hallway, almost like that of a nice museum or something. Doorways along the walls to the side and some sort of intersection way up ahead. What are you doing, Magnus?
How many doorways do I cross through until I get to that intersection?
So on either side of you, on the left and the right, there's 4 doorways. So 1, 2, 3, 4, kind of staggered on the left and the right, moving forward. And then there's an archway that kind of leads you into that intersection.
And is it just a T, or what are we talking about here?
Make a perception check. It's a little bit of a way up.
And I'm going to go bye-bye. Because tablets. Oh, I'm back again. No, I'm confused.
Well, I'm back. What was it?
4. Ooh.
4. You can tell that something happens up there. It looks like there's maybe something blocking the hall, or it might be a dead end, but that doesn't make sense to you. You're not really sure. There seems to be some sort of kind of tan ceramic colored something down there. It's a little ways down. You're interested in right now looking at these doors on the sides, and Athalia's down on the ground kind of looking at dirt, so you're a little bit distracted at the moment.
These doors on the side of us, any of them open?
Yeah, I mean, you can try. None of them are currently standing open, but you could check them out. There's no activity right now in this area. Nobody coming in or out of those doors.
I want to open a random, just one of them.
All right. Roll a d4 for me.
I will.
Good.
1.
Actually, I won't.
What's up, Malcolm? Gentleman Game Master just said, "What's up" in the chat. Good to see you. Guys,
Uno.
you got a 1? All right. Everybody who's watching, all 8 of you, and everybody who's in this game right now, we literally go watch the stream that we had last night of Gentleman Game Master running, Malcolm running. He did a Curse of Strahd game last night, and it was freaking epic. It was so sweet. So glad you're here, man. I just set it to my phone because that's where the chat. Glad you're here. Good to see you. So as you open, Trogonoink, you kind of hobble over to the side. Your long hair. I'm just basing it off of the weird little mini. Yeah, like kind of
like a bowl cut. Big nose,
this long bowl cut. This goblin with his long bowl cut in front of his eyes, kind of walks down to the hall, grabs onto one of the handles, and just swings the door open. And as you swing the door open, there's just this blast of wind that blows past you. There is on either side of you just an expansive cliffside and a dark evening sky, and it's just stars and wind blowing on this cliffside. And you kind of look left and right as you peer into this door, and the wind kind of blows your bowl cut hair back, and you see that there are 2 guys standing about 10 feet beyond you out at the cliffside, just taking a leak off the side, and their urine just kind of comes out and like curves and disappears because the wind's like blowing it away from them.
Hey, Druella, check this out. What are these guys doing?
Dragonoid, I don't think this is the right door, though.
Okay. I shut the door and I back away.
Okay. You shut the door and back away, and a couple minutes later, both of those men, they're both big, burly, two pretty identical looking men with big red beards and shaved heads, bust out of the door and kind of knock into you, and they're like, "What? You use the bathroom or not?" And they kind of walk out, slam the door, and start walking back towards the bar.
Hey, where are you coming from?
The restroom. What are you talking about?
No. What was that world?
That's where we take pisses. I don't know. That's where everybody goes to take a leak.
Everybody?
Well, I mean, I don't know about everybody. Some people probably piss their pants.
Does it always look the same?
Yeah. That's one of the few doors you can count on. That one, and Ted's Beds, the Proving Ground, and Modified Memories. This hallway's the only ones that are always reliable. You gotta have a place to take a piss, a place to take a nap, a place to get a tattoo. And you see the other guy kind of pull his shirt down. He has this big anchor on his chest, and he's like, "This one's for Modified Memories."
Noted. Thank you. Carry on.
No problem, darling. Another guy kind of gives you a wink, and they start walking away. They don't know what they've done. You guys all, if this was as tough as I'm making it, you would almost see the steam start rising off of Athalia's head as they say this and start walking away.
How tough do they look?
They are big. They seem to be human men, but they're large, almost like a dwarf type of a build, sort of a lumberjack kind of clothes. You know those tan, like waxed canvas Carhartts? I'm imagining them wearing those, sort of, but almost like a little bit somewhere between that and a lederhosen. And neither of them are wearing shirts under it. Big red beard, and they both kind of just stride out. they look strong. I mean, you don't know how skilled they are, and you can't see any weapons at hand. It looks like they're just hanging out at the bar, but they're imposing figures just from a size perspective.
I hold up the cage with the rat. I go, we'll get them later.
And you see the rat kind of come to the edge of the cage and put its nose up against one of the bars, and
I tap its nose.
it looks back at you, and as your finger goes in, it kind of jumps and then slowly inches its head forward and kind of rubs its head on you, and its tail kind of flips and flicks.
I turn my hand back and I kind of like stroke its nose with the top of two of my fingers, and
we can imagine all sorts of different petting, and the rat really seems to make an animal handling check. Let's see how the rat feels about you.
oh, I'm still not rolling good, guys. 5.
Cinco. So I was just kind of vibing with the rat liking you, and the rat was feeling it. You were giving the rat a little bit of attention. The rat generally lives its life in this black cage. But when you go for the underneath pet, you kind of like soft spot underneath its jaw. It's like, you ever pet a cat on the belly and it's like, nope, that's not it. That's not the spot. And then the rat kind of gets like that, where it's like, oh, you're done. We're done. And it kind of backs up on the other end of the cage. And kind of,
Athalia, leave the rat alone. We got business to do.
Exactly. I lose interest in the rat and start walking forward.
all right.
I'm going to find a door that in that cross section in the back hallway. I want to turn right, and I want to go down there, and I want to look for a door that looks like possibly it was recently used.
Okay, so as you find your way back to that intersection, actually, you find yourself at the intersection of 5 hallways. It's kind of like a big star almost coming out of this area, and a 50-foot tall mural dome ceiling is expansive above you, with crystal balls floating on a rippling expanse. Like the ceiling is decorated. It's almost like a space scene in this mural, but it's got like a rainbow painting kind of smeared across the top of it. And in the middle of this intersection, there's a huge statue of a triumphant little cat person, a little feline man with lynx-like ears, sitting on top of a griffin that's raised up like this with its claws and its wings spread. And there's a plaque on the front of the statue that says, Juju the Resplendent. And as you come in here, and you're kind of just taken away by this weird cat guy on it's a big, beautiful statue. It's like being in Caesar's Palace in Vegas, kind of, where it's like painted like this crazy sky above you with this big, almost like Roman-style statue with this brass plaque. And then you realize that there's a cluster of 4 teenage-looking people kind of sitting on the front of this statue, and they're all kind of huddled over and just playing dice on the ground. And as you walk in, Magnus, and you look to the right to look for the door you were looking for, you see all of them stand up. These kids, and they're wearing like leather strapped clothes, standing by the statue, and they all kind of stand up and they start looking at each other and start whispering at each other a little bit.
I'm going to walk up to one of the kids, whoever started talking first, and I want to gently put my hand behind his head and then grab any hair that he's got firmly, but not aggressively, and say, "What'd you see, boy?"
Holy shit. Okay. Before even knowing anything, let's roll an intimidation check to see how they respond. Anyone who's new to watching this, we are in the bar between the planes. The group is heading back into the shifting halls to look for a protoplasm, a strange ooze creature that's stolen something from someone that's hired them. And 11. And yes, Athalia?
Can I assist?
Assist in being intimidating?
Yeah.
Not at this moment. No, I think he's got the full brunt of it by grabbing the back of the head like that. And actually, this kid's kind of tough. So you reach behind the head of this kid and you grab their hair, and they've got curly, like bright red, like ginger, like carrot red hair. And you grab this hair and spin them around and look at them, and you are completely surprised by the face that you see as you spin this person around. It's a squat, kind of chunky, dark green-skinned half-orc boy with one tusk sticking out of his mouth. And when you pull him over, he's like, "Hey! What have I seen? I've seen all kinds of stuff. I'm a freaking watcher. What do you mean?" and his voice is kind of strange because this one tusk is grown out like this, kind of a mop of curly red hair, dark green skin, white tusk, and this strappy leather gear on him.
Do you see any suspicious behavior going on back here?
Oh yes, I did. All kinds of suspicious behavior. This is the Shifting Halls, man. Get
Did
off
anybody
me.
get blasted just recently?
Did somebody what?
Get blasted.
You see this blonde, like short, kind of almost like crew cut blonde woman, a skinny human teenage girl, and she's kind of leaning against the statue. And you notice that she has like a little stub of a cigarette sticking out of her mouth, and she says, "Somebody get blasted." What do you mean somebody get blasted? You're looking for someone that got blasted? I could find someone that got blasted.
I turn my gaze. I look at her right in the eyes, and I ask her, "Do you see it or not?"
I don't know. It'll cost you. She kind of leans back.
Wait. What's all this talk about blasted? We're looking for the slimy guy, the sluggy protoplasm.
Yeah,
What
the
is
protoplasm blast.
From this group, you notice that this group, so far you've seen this kind of ruddy, this red-haired half-orc boy and this kind of slender human girl, and then all of a sudden kind of pushing out from them, this little yellow guy. He's like this tall with a kind of an angular head, almost like a pterodactyl head, and he's yellow, and he pops out and he just comes up to you and he just stares at you like that. He kind of like blasts into the front and puts his arms on his hips and he just looks at you. And then he kind of squares up in front of Trogodoink.
Boom!
And it's just, the thing just pops, and it's like there's just a blast. And all of a sudden, Trogodoink, you are covered in this white chalk. It's like all across your face, and the creature is not there anymore, that little yellow guy. And you see the blonde girl put her hand on her forehead, and she goes, "Oh. You can't scare Skidwise like that. Skidwise, come out!" And you see a little bit of movement in one of the halls to the side, and the little yellow guy kind of peeks out from the side.
That's a cool trick.
He slowly kind of walks in a long arc back around to his group of friends. The fourth one that you haven't seen with them is a slender, dark, tan-skinned elf, with long, pointed ears with dark dreadlocks, kind of pulled back around his head, and sort of like tribal tattoos and like scarification on his forehead and the sides of his cheeks. And the four of them now are kind of gathered around. And that character, that dark-skinned man, they're all kind of teenage age, pushes through to the front of the group, and he says, "Elliot Dreadfeather, good to meet you. I'm the leader of this Watchers Brigade. What are you looking for specifically? I heard something about a protoplasm. Is that right? Is that the problem?"
That's the solution to our problems, yes.
Well said. What's your name, dwarf?
Magnus Big Toe.
Magnus Big Toe. You see him kind of scan down you and look down at your feet.
I stand up tall.
What do your feet look like?
Just demolished, dude. They look like razors, dude. They're so bad and calloused.
Wait, are you barefoot?
Yeah, I'm barefoot.
Do you have big toes?
What's that?
Do you have a big toe? A really big toe?
I've got like, my big toes are like pterodactyl claws, and then just regular human toes, the rest 6 on each side.
Okay. He looks down and he goes, "Big toe." Okay. He looks back up at you. Well, the solution to your problems is my job. As the leader of this Watchers Brigade, I'm willing to sell out my effort as well as the effort of one of my compatriots here. And we could take you and help you find this protoplasm you're looking for. There's protoplasms all over the place as you move deeper into the shifting halls. Some of them mostly spending their time at the lower areas as the halls go downwards. But we can help you track one down in any doorway you need to go into. For an additional payment, we can watch the door for you. But we will be your guides here in the shifting halls. And you can have more than one of us if you like. And you see the blonde, short-haired woman kind of put her hand on his shoulder and say, "And I'm the toughest one in the group." And then the little half-orc boy with the red hair steps up and says, "Well, I got the most friends around here." And then the little yellow guy pops up and just goes,
Whoa. Keep your tusk down, buddy.
the kid kind of, "Okay."
So
What's it gonna cost?
Good question.
Elliot kind of glances you over. To find the protoplasm. Everyone make an insight check real quick.
$15.
9.
16.
6.
Who got 15?
Magnus.
Magnus and Druella, you notice that he is completely bullshitting this price and just making it up based on looking at you. The other two of you, it seems like this is like a steady price. And he says, well, it's 5 gold for us to guide you. It's 5 gold once we find your quarry, and an additional 10 gold to watch a door for an hour if you have to go into a door in the shifting house.
Seems steep. How about 1 gold and then 2 gold if you watch it?
What? That's less than a quarter of our standing price. This is a cabal. This is a guild. I'm not in charge of the whole group. I gotta pay dues up to the other guys at Baxter's Paws. I'm not gonna be able to just make up a price.
Whoa. You just said you were in charge of the group. Now you're not in charge of the group?
I'm in charge of this brigade. I'm not in charge of the entire Watchers cabal. I mean, that's crazy. There's thousands of us, hundreds of us at least. We are a small troop here to do a job. I gotta pay my dues up the ladder, okay? So I can get it down to 4 gold, but then we're making razor thin profits. 4 gold. 2 on the way out. 2 once we find the protoplasm. Here, I'll come with you. He kind of like shakes his dreadlocks a little bit. Starts to adjust his straps.
Look, man, you're going to have to go less because here's the problem. I don't have any money to give you.
He just puts his hand on his forehead. And he's like, guys, let's get back to our game. And they all turn around and kind of go, like, they all start turning around and going back towards the statue. And you see the girl with the short blonde hair just kind of like...
Wait a minute.
She stops. She's like, the rest of the group's kind of started walking away, and the blonde girl turns. You notice she's kind of rotating a knife in her hand. Not in a threatening way, just like in a obsessive way.
Your quiet friend. The yellow guy, I liked him. He didn't have anything to say.
Yeah, Skidwise. He's a good one. And then you see him, all of a sudden, he's standing right next to her.
I flash a gold piece. 1 now, 2 later. 3 gold. It's a deal.
And he steps up to you, and you see all of the other ones just like put their hands on their heads, and they just sit down. Elliot, the one with the dreadlocks, is just like, whatever, Skidwise, take whatever you want. Just make sure you bring back enough for dues. And they kind of sit down and start playing dice again. And the guy kind of scampers up to you and holds his hand.
I flick the gold piece into his hand, and 2. After we
drops
find
it instantly, it lands in his hand and it falls on the ground and tink, 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 and he kind of runs to go pick it up and he grabs it. He shoves it in a little pouch. You notice as he's reaching into his pouch that his strappy, leather-strapped outfit has like vials. It has a little hatchet on it. He's got some pittons and a sack. And right in the center of the chest, there's a blue eye embroidered into the front. And he kind of adjusts his stuff and looks up. The rest of the group, you start to notice, all has this blue eye emblazoned on this kind of like leather vest straps that they're wearing.
What's with that eye?
He points at it. He points at his eye, and then he points at a door.
Is there any markings? Oh, like he's a watcher? Is that your guild mark? Good deal.
He kind of looks around. Puts his thumb up in the air, and he points in a direction and just starts walking.
I follow him.
Yeah.
So we're moving. We start moving back. You kind of can see this whole domed room with this crazy rainbow mural ceiling and this big statue of this Tabaxi riding on a griffin. And as you guys move out from the star-shaped intersection down one of the hallways, this little yellow guy kind of striding in front of you, about your height and size, Trogodoink, kind of striding with his arms proudly swinging as he walks in the front of the group. We're going to jump into a skill challenge here. So, it's gonna be a bit of a journey to find this protoplasm. And the halls are always shifting and changing. And Skidwise, for your gold, will be of help to you in this journey. But what we're going to want to do is I want each of you, through the things that you have proficiency in and your different abilities, to think of a way. And these halls, as you're moving through, these halls, sometimes there are barrels in them. Sometimes they seem like dungeons. Sometimes they seem like beautiful museums with statues on either side. There are all sorts of doors of different types lining the walls. Sometimes characters, different creatures and people burst out of these doors. And as you're moving through this area and looking for this protoplasm, I'm going to ask you to make a skill check. So just describe to me some way you'll use one of your skills, whether that's talking to someone, looking for tracks, moving stuff out of the way, that you can try to find protoplasm back in these halls. And we'll just start. Whoever goes first will start, and then we'll kind of like round robin it. Maybe we're gonna have to have. Let's say we've got 1, 2, 3. We've got 4 of you. You're going to need 6 successes in order to get far enough into the shifting hall safely to locate the protoplasm. And the DC, what I'm looking for, will be based on kind of how helpful and creative your solution sounds. What do you think? Does anyone have any ideas of how they might help the group try and find this protoplasm as you follow this little yellow triangle head boy down the hall?
What would I know about protoplasms, if anything?
Actually, you never heard anything about it until it was brought up by Akra.
Okay.
The thing that she did say is that protoplasms are sort of like a gelatinous creature that has the ability to somehow steal your stuff. And it's a gooey creature, like a kind of like an ooze. One of the things that you heard from the Watchers, the teenagers back at the intersection, was that that protoplasms tend to hang out. This is the thing that Elliot has just said, is that they tend to hang out at the lowest points. If you're going downhill, you're probably going in the right direction to find the protoplasm.
Are they fast?
That's really the only clues you have. You're not sure yet. You could try to ask Skidwise, the little yellow pterodactyl boy.
So being a goblin and being of small stature, along with Skidwise, I'm going to try and team up with him a little bit and use our small size to our advantage as we're looking around. Maybe crawl into some small spaces that might be, blocking paths, and crawl up into rafters to get a better look. Do whatever I can to use my small size to my advantage as we kind of navigate around and like, I know you said there's a lot of like paths being blocked and stuff like that. So
yeah, let's what kind of a skill check would go with that? Maybe like a
I was imagining like, being able, because we're small, for like the larger characters, although Athalia is like the largest character of the group, actually. Technically,
yeah, Magnus is pretty sturdy, but
being able to like lift us up into higher spots so we can see further and like use us to like go crawl through openings to like clear the way ahead and stuff like that.
Do you want to be focused on, just from a skill check perspective, do you want to be focused on the squeezing or the looking?
The squeezing.
Okay, let's go ahead and do a yes, Athalia.
Well, I was going to suggest on my end doing survival, looking for like little cracks, crevices, holes in the wall, maybe even like if there's any fountains or like flower pots, like something an ooze could lay in or hide in plain sight.
Okay. All right. So Trogodoink, give me a. I don't know. Give me an acrobatics check.
Ooh, pretty good. 21.
Damn. So Trogodoink's kind of moving up there next to Skidwise, who's kind of striding around, and occasionally we'll get to a corner and pop his thumb and kind of look back and forth. And Trogodoink, you find your way up sometimes different kind of collections of pillars or stones, and kind of squeeze yourself into areas where you can see that certain spots are moving slightly more downhill. than the hallway that you were just in. So you notice these little areas, and that was a success. So you start moving your way forward with the group. And as you guys are following Trogadoink and Trogadoink and Skidwise, as you're moving down the hallway, Athalia is kind of scanning the area, looking for these low places where a protoplasm may settle, where this strange oozy material may be. Go ahead and make a survival check for me, Athalia. 8.
I haven't rolled over a 6 yet today.
One thing that people may not know who are watching this is that Andrew historically rolls 4s like for everything.
I've already rolled like 4 2s, so
he's playing a level 17 sorcerer in our other game, and Kism rides the balance between being the most powerful character in the universe and being the biggest poor rolling dipshit of all time. But Athalia, I'm going to need you to roll a D100 for me.
90.
90.
Finally,
Wait, it was a 90 and then a 0. Is that 90 or 100?
That's a 0. Wait. That's a 90. That's a 90.
Yeah. All right.
You see, as you're looking, you're kind of looking down, and you see like it feels like you're seeing the way it's like a little bit of almost like a gutter that runs along the side of one of the hallways. This hallway that you're in now is a little bit dim, and it has these almost like continually burning torches on the wall. And you're looking at this like stone gutter that runs along the side of the hallway and kind of inspecting it. And the next thing you know, you see these boots in front of you, and you look up, and there are these this leather strapped chest piece with a blue eye in the center, and you kind of like, and you pan back, and there's supposed to roll on this. There are 4 large men standing in front of you, all with the Watcher's eye on their chest, and they have their arms crossed. One steps forward and says, "Skidwise, looks like you got a job. Ready to pay your dues?" And Skidwise kind of walks forward and looks up. This guy has this big, thick mustache, shaved head. He kind of leans forward, and Skidwise pulls out the 1 gold coin and hands it. The guy kind of snatches it, and he looks at the group. "This little yellow guy treating you well?"
He's the best.
Yes, absolutely. Yes, this is great. He's so good. Did you know he could turn into chalk?
Hey, and no guff out of this one either.
Yeah, he doesn't say a word. I love it.
Huh.
No back talk.
All right. We'll report that. Thank you very much. Have a good day. And they kind of push by and keep walking. Tell Elliot we're coming for the dues next week, and they keep moving and walking.
Hey, I got a question.
They stop. The guy turns around with the big mustache, kind of strokes the edge of his mustache. Yeah.
You heard about any protoplasms up this way?
He flips the coin and catches it. There's always a fucking protoplasm around here. He shoves it in his pocket. Keep going downhill. It's the only thing I can tell you. And look up. And turns around and keeps walking. Magnus, what will you do to help the skill challenge?
I was thinking about using my athletics and being able to maybe look for some small rock that is kind of outcropped off of the nice mosaics everywhere to be able to like pull up and look over. I also have dark vision, so looking up in the dark rafters I think would be useful.
Cool. All right, let's start with the athletics one, and that's between you climbing up on the things to get better vantage point, to pick a direction as you come to all of these intersections in the hallways, to help lift up Skidwise and Trogadoink so they can get into small places up in the rafters of the halls occasionally to look. You're using your physical strength to move things out of the way. What did you get on an athletics check?
I didn't roll because I'm silly. Ooh, 16 plus 7.
All right. So you end up, you've been the one lifting up Trogadoink to help him get into these small spaces. And at one point you see this, it's actually a column that's sitting on the ground that used to have a statue on it, but the statue has fallen on the ground and is smashed. And you kind of get up and like hoist yourself up onto the column as there's this kind of like forked intersection that moves out away from you. And while you're standing up, you see that there's a slight continuation of a downward grade in a certain direction, and you kind of re-gear the party. Skidwise was actually about to go a different way, and you kind of get his attention and start moving the group down in the right way. So that was a success. Dorella, what are you doing?
So, okay, I got this staff, and I can make it turn into a snake, and then I can tell this snake mentally to do things. So I'm going to tell him to crawl around and around, to try to find some things.
Okay, make an animal handling check. Does it turn into a real snake? Is this type of staff of the python or something?
Yeah, I staff of the python.
All right, yeah, make an animal handling check.
Oh, no. 5.
Roll a D100 for me, Dorella.
I rolled a 100.
Do you know if that's good or not?
No, but I've never rolled a 100.
Doesn't matter.
Congratulations! It's like a crit. It's a crit on the list of weird shit that could happen to you. Basically, you tell the snake, you set your staff down and you kind of raise your little turtle hands, your little stumpy scaled hands up, and the staff turns into a snake with hiss and kind of roils on the ground, and you see Skidwise kind of back up, afraid of this snake, and the snake kind of raises up and looks at you, and you say, "What to it?" How's it?
We looking for this jelly man. Please find him.
And the snake kind of curves around and takes off. And you guys all start moving, and as its troop down the hallway, you push past this big furry guy with he's a big red furry guy who's just kind of walking down the hall with a barrel on his back, and kind of move past him. The snake keeps moving, and the snake takes you down this corner, around this really sharp corner, and at this point you're all kind of having to run a little bit to keep up with the snake, and you turn this corner, and I need everybody to make a dexterity saving throw.
Oh shit.
Natural 20. I got 23.
All right, Dorella.
Mm-hmm.
Or 15.
Okay.
12.
Okay.
20.
Okay. All of you, but Skidwise, narrowly avoid just walking into a wall of webs. Just these weird, thick, sticky spider webs that just move across this entire section of hall. You all turn and kind of like stop on your heel as the snake rears up, and Skidwise just blasts past the snake, and he turns over his shoulder looking back at you, and his arms kind of stretch as he tries to pull himself out from this web, and he's stuck, and he starts panicking and wriggling back and forth like
Oh
this.
no, Magnus, man.
Skidwise.
Magnus.
Hey. How about 1 gold? And I
What'd you
save
say?
you right now. How
What'd
about
you
1 gold and I save you right now?
He kind of looks. Make an intimidation check. You're trying to get a discount for his life.
Yeah.
Yeah, he just got hustled for his other gold by his boss too.
12.
He looks at you and he just vigorously.
All right, as I pull him out, I go, I'm just kidding, buddy.
Make an athletics check to pop him out of the web.
Ooh, 26.
Okay, yeah. You grab him kind of across the chest like this and just yank him off, and the web's all kind of snapped, and you see the web that caught him kind of sag off to the sides. And continue. I'm going to count that as another success for you, that check, and everyone else made their save. You see him down in front of you. Those webs kind of ripped when you pulled Skidwise's body up out of it, and the webs rip and fall down, and you see the continuation of the path ahead of you, and you're staring at that path and noticing, like, we broke through this web and we found our way a little bit closer, and then you notice that this whole time you've been holding Skidwise kind of like a baby in your arms, and he's still covered in this like sticky goo on his shoulders and his arms, and he's kind of just looking up at you.
I'm going to keep holding him.
Okay.
Cool, I like him.
All right, we're back around to Troglodyte. What are you doing as we continue our search?
Hey, guys. Well, listen. Where there's big webs, there's probably big spiders. I'm gonna try to sneak ahead and see if there's anything scary down this path. And if there is, I'll let you know.
This voice is gold. All right, make a stealth check for me, Trogodon.
Hey guys, if there's this web and it's here, how's the plasm going to get through? Should we go to a different one?
$17.
That's a success.
The spider could have built the web since it's retreated back down to the depths.
That's also possible. And
Big toe.
Trogodon, as you guys are having this discussion, he kind of seems to like disappear out of sight, and you guys don't notice where he is. You see Skidwise in your arms, Magnus, kind of looking around for a second. And Trogodon, you actually make your way up down this hall through this kind of like sagging web on the wall where these torches hang with their continuous kind of orange flame glowing. It's almost like a Darkest Dungeon, classic kind of a dungeon hallway. And you get down to the end of this hallway and you notice this corpse, almost like a cicada shell, of a giant spider laying on its back with a spear sticking out of its chest and this like kind of dried gray ichor on the edge of its carapace. And it's just laying on its back with its limbs all spread out like this, just like laying there split in half by this spear. And you notice while you're standing there looking at the spear that there is a little trickle of this bluish white goop kind of smeared on the corner of the wall at the end, right next to this corpse of this spider.
Okay, I wanna try to take the spear out of the spider and then run back to the group.
Okay. And it's easy enough. It's kind of dried out since it's died, and you just there's like a little bit of a crack and a kind of a sound, and you pull the spear. Everything makes that sound. And you pull the spear out, and it kind of it almost knocks you back because it's pretty long for your body size. But you've got the spear now. You see the kind of orange light casting long shadows down this hallway. The web hanging on the side, and the party's all still kind of talking over on the other end with Magnus holding this little yellow Skidwise in his arms.
Based on the direction that I saw the white goop, the hallway continues that way, obviously, right?
Yeah,
dark,
exactly.
but
It goes straight, and then there's a left that kicks out, and that's where you saw a little bit of that goo. Kind of
Okay. I'll go back to the group and I'll say,
Magnus, I found you a spear, and I found the hallway. I think we go this way. There's the jellies over here.
You found jelly?
Yeah, I'll show you.
Please. Hungry.
Skidwise's eyes kind of widen.
Sound good, buddy?
I'll start leading them down the hallway carefully, keeping my eye out. I don't know if there would be more than one spider here, but I'll kind of stay a little bit ahead of the group.
Okay.
Yeah, and also, I don't know how dark it is, but I have that dark vision.
Cool. Yeah, and it's dim in here. It's kind of torchlight in this area, and it's not quite as beautiful as the previous hallways that you're in. It seems like they're kind of like this area is very much more like a dungeon or a catacomb. Like, and you didn't notice the shift in the quality of the hallway or how nice it's been, but you've been walking now probably an hour or so, maybe an hour and a half. And it's sometimes since when you started, these beautiful mosaic hallways have kind of taken on this more dungeony undercastle type of a look with these kind of just big gray stones and classic sconces holding these ever-burning torches on the side as you continue moving forward. Drella, were you going to say something? You had your mouth open for a minute, or were you just trying to breathe?
No, I wasn't going to say anything.
Okay, Thalia, it's your check.
Yeah, at this point, Athalia is kind of at the end of her skill set. She's been trying to do this survival thing for a while, and it just hasn't been working out very well. And so she has just been keeping her ears open and her eyes open for obvious clues like the jelly on the ground, or asking questions of these people that we pass in the halls.
Okay. So do you want to focus on the social interaction, the question asking, or on the looking out for signs?
The question asking.
Okay. So let's just do a how do you want to focus that? You want to be persuasive? Or
I'm gonna say persuasion because I think probably like she's being nice. She's gonna get more information out of the people than if trying to be intimidating.
Okay. All right. So let's get a persuasion check. We'll see what happens.
Rolled another 2, so.
Oh my god.
All right, Athalia, the cursed Athalia, please roll a D100 for me.
I'm done with that dice.
That dice number 1,000.
I got a 0.
Really?
Yeah, I got 3 zeros.
What is that number? That can't be a thing.
That's 100.
Oh, is that what Shelby got too?
God.
Oh,
I got
all
100
right.
again. Roll again for me. That's insane.
89.
Okay. All right. That's more fair. So as you continue walking down this long hallway, you start to notice that some of the hallway is a little bit more broken and crumbling around you, and you're looking out for somebody to talk to, and you see leaning against this one doorway is this hobgoblin wearing thick leather armor, and he's kind of just leaning with his head down and his brow he has kind of like a wide brow ridge, and he's kind of just looking, and as you come up he kind of nods like this, and as you approach him and you start to talk to him, how do you start to persuade him?
I'm going to walk up to him and kind of give a little bit of a smile. I'll put my hand on my hip and kind of rattle the rat cage and be like, "Hey there, guy. What's your name?"
He looks up and he says, "What have you seen? In him? Does anyone here speak Goblin?"
Well, of course I do.
Okay, so you notice he says, "What do you want, lady?"
Does Tragadoink translate for me?
Yeah, he said, "What do you want, lady?" You want me to say something back to him?
Yeah, I do. I want you to ask him if he's seen the protoplasm around here. And if I like what he says, I might blow him a kiss.
Okay, well, my friend here, she says she wants to know if you've seen the goopy jelly protoplasm around here, and if you have, she'll
Shit.
pay you money.
He kind of leans back and he thinks for a second, and he steps forward. And there, at the end of the hall, the hall that he's in kind of just curves away like this, and the walls are kind of crumbling and broken. And he steps forward, and he puts his hand on his chin, his wide jaw, and he kind of rubs his chin for a second. He looks over his shoulder, and you hear in the distance, you hear, and he kind of looks up, and to the rest of you, you hear, but what you're hearing, Tragadoink, is he says, "You know what? As a matter of fact, I think I saw," and moving down the hallway behind him is a stampeding herd of giant goats is just charging down. The sound cascades and grows louder and louder as boom, he gets hit in the back by a goat and flattened onto the ground. Magnus, what's your AC?
Oh, 18.
Okay, so a goat rams into you, and your chest plate of your armor just knocks you back against the wall. Druella, that does not hit. Tragadoink, you get slammed in the chest by a goat, taking 6 damage as you fall to the ground, and this goat plows past you. And Athalia, natural 20 from a goat ramming you. Let's see. We've got. It was nothing for a natural 20. You take 7 bludgeoning damage as a goat just boom knocks you off your feet, and you tumble like rolling over the hood of a car, boom, wham, and onto your chest. And another one nails Skidwise out of after Skidwise has been dropped by Magnus, as Magnus just gets his armor kind of dented in the front, and Skidwise kind of turning around, gets hit in the back by another goat. As this stampede of these long white furred goats with this kind of matted fur around their chins and this big yellowing curved horns just plows past the group. And you look down and you notice that the hobgoblin's head split on the ground and the blood has pooled around it.
Does he have any gold?
What'd you say?
I want to check his pockets.
Okay.
Goats? What the heck is this place? Where did this goats come from? What is going on around here?
Make an investigation check as you rifle through the pockets of the hobgoblin bleeding out of his cracked skull onto the ground. Magnus, you notice that these freaking goats that now you hear them stampeding off into the distance. Some of their fur kind of still lingers in the air. You notice that your chest plate of your armor is scuffed and dented a little bit, and then you look down and you see Skidwise laying on his back, just staring dazed up at the ceiling.
First thing I want to acknowledge Trogodoink and say maybe they're scared of the goblin thingy that's running around. You know, maybe we're going the right way. And then I'm going to pick up Skidwise and I'm going to look at him. And I'm going to hold him in my paws and my big hands and just say, "Are you okay, buddy?" And just give him a little, like, you know how you're supposed to not shake a baby, but you shake baby. You know, like, "Are you okay?"
He's shaking like this, and you can't tell if he's nodding or you're just shaking him a lot. But his little yellow head is kind of bobbling around at the end. What'd you get, Athalia, on your investigation check?
7.
7. You start rifling through his pocket, and you find one bill. It's like for us, it would remind you of a piece of paper currency. But Athalia doesn't really recognize what it is, but it's kind of a crumpled, like, purple bill like this that has a kind of like a rune in all four corners, and in the center it has a picture of a bald man with one like glass eye, kind of like this. It almost looks like a $20 bill, but you wouldn't really recognize this type of currency. And you find a cracked magnifying glass in his pocket.
Oh, I'm starting a collection of magnifying glasses.
Do you have another magnifying glass?
Yeah, for some reason.
Weird. That's super weird.
Oh. Well, then I want to take this cracked magnifying glass and walk over to the jelly that's on the ground and look at it.
All right. Make an investigation check with advantage.
A nat 1 and a 4.
Oh my god! Yeah, the way that it's cracked is kind of like straight across the center, and you just see magnified bluish white, kind of like iridescent goo in kind of one of the cracks of the wall. It's tough to discern anything extra about it.
I just toss it into the corner.
The glass, the magnifying glass.
Yeah, this thing's crap. It's worthless.
And it kind of just cracks a little bit more as it slides into the corner. Drella, what are you doing to help them find the way out?
I'm walking around, looking at everything around me, like the walls, the floor, looking for the goo. Do I see any?
Make a perception check.
Okay.
Is nobody going to talk about the fact that a stampede of goats just ran us over in the middle of a hallway? Does anyone else not think this is the strangest thing ever? You're just going to act like this is normal?
It was strange and it was embarrassing. I don't want to talk about it.
How's your rat, Athalia?
He's doing fine. How's my rat look, DM?
The rat actually looks fine. It's a little bit like kind of on edge looking, but it doesn't look like it's hurt.
Can I try to pet it?
Sure. Yeah, you get your finger in there, and it begrudgingly allows you to pet. It doesn't move or really accept it graciously, but it doesn't bite you or run away. Drella, what'd you get on your perception check?
Whopping 5.
Jesus. Roll a D100 for me, Drella.
Oh no. What is double zeros and a 4?
That should be 40, I believe.
Okay, 40.
Okay. 1 second. Now I want you to roll a d4.
Okay. 4.
4. Okay. You see, so you're looking around and you're kind of trying to find out, where do we go from here? Where did these goats come from? What is our next path? But this one hallway that's kind of going down, in which you had seen that smear on, just kind of continues forward and curves. And you keep moving down this hallway, seeing where the rocks have been kind of splintered by the goats' hooves as they crash down the hallway, their horns kind of scraping on the walls. And you move down around this area, and you're kind of looking. You're kind of large eyelidded turtle eyes, like looking around the corner and looking down into the darkness. And all of a sudden you catch something out of the corner of your eye, this long shadow across the ceiling, and you look up and there's a net hanging from the ceiling, kind of like a little pouch, and there's a guy in it in full armor who says, "Hail, hail, friend! Can you cut me out of here, please?"
Well, okay. I mean, I suppose I could, but why are you up there?
I was on my way back to the Looking Glass from a quest that I had, and I stepped on this net, and I don't know what might be coming to get me. He has a kind of blonde hair, like spilling out, and you can tell he's been in there for a while because he has like a rope mark on his face from where he's been pressed into this net that just like has him strung up on the ceiling. You can still see that kind of orange flickering torchlight kind of casting off of him.
I mean, okay. I could let you down. You gonna be nice to everybody?
Yeah. Oh, yes. I'm very nice.
Okay. I am going to. Oh shit! I don't know if I have anything sharp.
He kind of swings a little.
How high up is he?
The ceiling's about 15 feet. So at the bottom of the net, probably like 8 feet up.
Can I do an acrobatic jump and cut him out with my big toenail?
Probably not with your toenail. What did you say, Joella?
I just have a hammer, so I'm gonna have the sharpest thing I have.
What weapon do you have, Magnus? That's not a toenail.
Well, I got a battle axe. You have a berserk axe.
You want to try and cut him down with your axe for Joella?
Yeah, I'll cut him down. Does he look like he's got any weapons on him though?
He does. Actually, on his back, he has a long greatsword on his back. He's wearing almost kind of goldish colored armor, and he's kind of like really tightly wrapped up in there in a very awkward and strange position. He's wearing kind of a nice armor, has a pretty nice haircut, but he looks like he has been stuck up there for probably a day, like a day and a half maybe.
Can I reach his great axe? Can I use his own axe to cut him down, or his sword?
A great sword on his back. Try what are you thinking?
While they're cutting him down, I'm gonna I'm afraid of this guy, so I'm gonna hide somewhere nearby.
All right, make a stealth check for me. You wouldn't be able to get his greatsword off of his back because he's like really cinched in on this net.
All right, fine. I'll use my regular my stuff.
Okay, so you can kind of lift yourself up and kind of raise up on your toes and with your axe, and the axe kind of you start to see the rope start to fray as the fibers start to break off of these parts, and as the rope breaks, the net all starts to kind of undo itself as he and he lands with a slam of metal on the ground. Oh, jeez! And he stands up. Thank you, friend. My God.
Hey, no problem. Did you see protoplasm running through?
Oh, I actually did. On my way back, I saw something gelatinous moving, and I actually avoided that hallway. Straight behind me, and you take a left, and there's sort of a series of bridges. It seems like there's sunlight down there or something, but I wasn't going that way.
All right, I help him up, and I tell him thank you.
You're welcome. You're welcome. Glenn Davids. He puts his hand out.
Big toe. Magnus, big toe.
He shakes your hand. Thanks. If I see you in the Looking Glass, I owe you all a drink. Thank you very much. And he kind of like rubs his a little bleeding spot on his eye and kind of starts walking away. You notice his armor is completely dented, and he's like, good job staying away from those goats too. I saw that. Holy shit. He's just kind of mumbling as he walks away, his armor all clinking as he walks down this hallway.
Before we leave,
He passes right by you, by the way, Troglodyte. He just walks by. He doesn't even notice where you're kind of pressed up in this dark corner outside of the torchlight, and he walks past.
Come out as soon as he walks past. How many successes do we have so far?
Now you have 5 since you saved the guy. You got 1 left.
before we leave this area, I want to grab. I've got a jug, and I want to collect some of that goop in my jug to try to match it with a color when we find the guy.
Okay. All right. So you kind of go back over to the edge of the wall where you saw some of that protoplasm, that protomatter on the wall, and you kind of scrape it into the side of your jug, and it kind of. I'm like, God, that sound! I can't get over that popping sound, and it lands on the bottom of your jug. Cool. And so he made the direction, I think, down, continuing down this path and to the left, and that the hall seems to open up and have some sort of different character to its light as you move forward. So I assume you guys kind of follow that direction as you continue on your way down. We need one more check. One more thing. Any of you can pick something that you can do to support the homies.
Yeah, feeling confident that we have the right direction now because we've been seeing clues the whole way, and we see someone who's recently seen the thing we're looking for, and he pointed us in the direction. I'm going to kind of continue to follow the trail, just looking for more splotches on the ground, looking up as well because the guy told us to look up, and just slowly move forward, thinking it's going to be nearby at any time. Just looking around as best I can.
Okay. Make a perception check then. Perception or investigation. You can pick depending on how specific you want to be.
Ooh, guys.
Oh no.
Okay, using investigation, which is my better one. 7.
Damn! Roll a D100 for us, Troglodyte. Yes, Delia.
How many are there? More corners or anything we have to go around, or is it just a straight hallway now?
There's one hallway that goes off to that has a corner that goes to the left, and the guy had said go down this hall and take a left. And after that, it seems to be a relatively straight shot, and you're already starting to notice that this kind of broken gray stone walls and floor have opened up into this paler sort of tile that almost kind of reminds you of like a bathhouse type of a thing. And every once in a while, there seems to be almost like a skylight running along the ceiling that's letting in this like white, almost like sunshine down into this area.
Okay. How about this? I got a mirror and a magnifying glass. So I want to hold the magnifying glass up under the sunlight coming in and focus it into the mirror, then use that to like shine that like heated beam around and see if, like anything jumps or moves because it's taking maybe that radiant or heat damage.
Okay. All right, I'll let you get to that in 1 second. Let's first deal with Troglodyte's failure, and then we'll deal with that idea. That seems scientifically super crazy and difficult to actually achieve, but based on where we are, it may be possible. So Troglodyte, what did you get again? You got a 7?
On my check, yeah, I rolled a 7.
And then what did you get on the D100 roll? Did you roll it already?
I did, yeah. I rolled a 62.
Okay. So you guys continue your way. You continue your way down. I need a D4 from you, Troglodyte. You can continue your way down this hallway, and Athalia, you're looking out for a place where the sunlight may be coming through enough that you could use your mirror and your magnifying glass to create some sort of beam to try and draw some sort of attention. And just go ahead, Athalia. I know this isn't going to be a great. You got it too. Troglodyte. This isn't going to be a great check for you, but it's a pretty strange thing. Go ahead and give me an intelligence check on your end.
8.
Okay. Okay. So as you continue your way down, you open up into this area where let's take a look here. Where it seems to this kind of like I said, the stony wall kind of opens up into this bathhouse type of a floor, and you notice these cage-like doors on either side of this piece of the hallway. These cages, they're almost like cells, and you're kind of looking down and you see this blue, these kind of bluish white tiles, and you see these cells around. And you're kind of moving this beam back and forth, and Tragadoink is forward looking out, and you both, this beam kind of moves over these tiles and over these bars, and you see it kind of like dipping into these different little cells off to the side of this main hallway, as all of a sudden this light shines on red skin, and you see this face turn with these pitch black eyes, and these red wings kind of curl in, and you see this sack, this impish kind of red devilish creature holding a big sack like this and handing it to a cloaked man with a white beard. And the cloaked man grabs the sack and then swings his arm like this, and this sparkle of blue energy just rockets around them as this mage disappears, and the red creature's wings spread and it starts flying away. Your light kind of just like startling them as they were in the middle of this some sort of transaction. And this creature kind of smashes out, looks at you, and starts flying away the other way.
How far away is it?
Probably like 35 feet, 40 feet away from you.
Wait. Do we care about this guy? Do we want to? What?
I don't know. He didn't do or say anything. They're just running away.
Would it be possible for me to run as fast as I can to get as close as possible and throw a 10-foot chain that I have to try to like grapple him inside of it to like stop him from flying away?
Sure. You take off. You take off down the hall. And you just see Magnus, boom, 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 heavy footsteps running after this red impish creature that's flying away down the hall. And he's running, and you see these kind of cage walls beside you, these caged doors like cells. And you're running down this white tile, this lighter light in front of you, and you grab your chain and kind of pull it back like this. And this roar of this strange sucking and ripping sound happens over you. You hear this kind of as you get hit by this pudding, this like cold puddingish feeling as the protoplasm drops from the ceiling and slams into your face, the chain falling out of your hand and skidding across the ground. I need everybody to roll initiative.
Woo, woo, woo.
Yeah.
Dude, you pulled a Noah, Quentin.
Sorry, man.
You ran into a friggin' blob.
Hey, just so we're clear, I literally asked if it would be possible, and then he just went with it. So
I know. I just think it's funny.
Sure, you did it. I've got 1,000 ball bearings. I was about to start throwing those out.
Don't want to know.
Oh, did I had Skidward with me too, or what's his name?
No, he's back here. I'm using Druella and trying to change its color. So look like Skidward.
That's SpongeBob.
The little white version of Druella is Skidwise. So you come blasting out forward, and whap, this creature falls. Let me see. Here we go. Can you guys still see the map?
Yeah.
All right. As it does, you take 20 bludgeoning and force damage as this thing falls from the ceiling and slams into you with a critical hit. And just nails you in the head. You feel this cold viscous liquid slam onto you and kind of grab the back of your head and almost like crack your neck as it hits the ground. How you doing after 20 points of damage?
I'm all right.
Okay. And it, you see it kind of solidify on the ground. Just for everyone's reference, this is what the creature looks like. It has these kind of long, like crystalline shards that come off of certain parts of it, and as it moves, these crystals kind of form and suck back into it and form in different places. I also need you, Magnus, to make a dexterity saving throw.
Oh God, 7.
Okay. And as this happens, and it hits you, the pop happens. You hear the suction and this popping sound, and the spear that Trogodoink had just given you has been struck by the protoplasm and just flashes out of existence. Everybody, I'm going to need initiatives. 25 to 20.
21.
22. 22 from Trog.
Oh, 19. Sorry.
Wow, guys.
18.
Luella. And what'd you get?
Oh, damn.
What'd you get, Magnus?
18.
18. And this guy is at the end, but since it got a surprise round on you, it has one more attack, which is going to be a 22 to hit.
Hits.
And it rears back and does 12 damage.
Yep.
And I am going to need you to. Oh, I'm going to do. I need you to make another dexterity save.
Ooh, 18.
18. So it swings out as it hits you, and this kind of crystalline form at the end of one of this pseudopod tendrils slams into your chest. And as it slams into your chest, you can see the crystal kind of brighten for a second, and it's almost as if your chest plate of your armor is about to be taken from you. It's like, and you kind of back up and you block it with your arm as it just continues to make the sound and writhe in front of you. That is the end of its turn. Trogodoink, or not Trogodoink, but Skidwise also did really well in initiative. And Trogodoink, you are up. You're back here. You're this little baby.
I'm going to, let's see. No good place to hide. I'm gonna take. Can I make it 5, 10, 15, 20? Okay, I'm gonna take a shot at it, and then I'm gonna try to run over into one of those open rooms where the cages are kind of broken off and open.
Like one of these ones to the side.
Yeah, and I'll use cunning action to get there if I need to dash. But I would prefer to use it to hide. So, okay. My shot is 9.
It does not have a very high armor class, but what are you shooting with? A crossbow?
Crossbow, yeah.
Yeah, so you kind of step out and it and just bounces across the floor next to the protoplasm.
Oh.
So you duck into here, and you want to hide around this corner?
Yes.
Okay. Go ahead and give me a stealth check. Athalia, you're on deck.
Natural 1, 11.
11. Okay, so you whip around the corner and kind of bump into this bucket that's in the corner there, and it might not be loud enough to really draw attention. You are still a very light-footed individual, but you did run into something when you went in there. You know, you're not as hidden as you sometimes expect to be. Athalia, you're up. You're right here. You see this creature on the ground, and it makes this as you see it there, it makes this strange sound, almost like sucking and backwards voices all kind of coming through static. It's just.
Is it speaking?
It doesn't seem to be speaking, but it seems like it's almost like a receiving some sort of energy. Like it's like almost like standing next to like a broken radio. Like it's not making the sound on purpose, but it's almost like funneling in some sorts of energy from around it, and it's creating this strange like distorted sound.
Okay. I'm gonna bonus action hex it.
Okay.
And it'll have, what is it, disadvantage on strength saves, I think.
Sure. It's checks, but yeah, that's
Yes, yeah. And then I'm going to Eldritch Blast it twice.
Same position from right here.
Question:
Sure.
Is it at disadvantage because of how close Magnus is to it? Like, is he in my way?
No, he's not. You've got a straight shot. This is a big.
Yeah. Okay then.
Big creature.
Yeah, from where I'm standing.
Okay, cool.
So first roll is an 18 to hit.
That's a winner.
And does a 13 hit?
13 does hit too.
All right. So 5, 9, and I do 13 damage. 4 of it's from the hex, so it's necrotic.
Okay, great.
And then I want to move forward 1 and then to the right 3, like just on the other side of the grate.
Okay, so you also what does your Eldritch Blast look like, Athalia, as you blast this protoplasm?
She like kind of gets quiet and mumbles to herself, closing her eyes, like she's whispering something, like to someone who isn't even there. And then her eyes open and her eyes have like rolled back into her head, and all you see is the milky white, and she screams, and these 2 black beams just flare out of her palms, and like the ends of them are like little dragon heads, and they fly towards the protoplasm and explode into it.
And you hear this scream just echo. This kind of ceramic tile holds this echo beautifully as her scream just, and these 2 black beams ripple out from her hands and cascade forward with these kind of twisting and curling, almost like shadow dragon heads on the end of them. And as they're moving forward, you see engulfed in this kind of black smoke, the protoplasm starts to get wreathed in this darkness of her hex. And the hex almost draws the blasts in towards the protoplasm as they boom, boom, and you see its body sort of ripple, and these crystals form around these areas, almost as if you broke through into it, and then they liquefy again, and it kind of straightens itself back out. It seems like you did hurt it as you see it, as these crystals start sprouting a little bit more often, almost as if it's kind of glitching, with some of it being liquid and some of it being solid. After Athalia, Druella's up. Athalia kind of tucks back behind the bars. What are you doing, Druella?
Okay, so I'm gonna come over to next to Tragadoink.
Okay.
And I kind of want to position myself slightly behind the, like, little, is that like a thing holding like a light, like a flame?
Yeah, it's like a little sconce with a little bit of fire in it.
Okay, yeah. So I'm going to go behind there. I'm going to use my action to dodge. And I'm going to use my bonus action to inspire Magnus, and I'm going to say, "Hey, Magnus, you kill that jelly man. So you have a D8, I believe. A D8 of inspiration.
Woo! Hey, whoever's in the chat with a name that's just a bunch of numbers, watch yourself, please. Be respectful. Okay, so you just inspired who?
Magnus.
Okay. So Magnus, you take your inspiration. What are you doing with your action then?
Me?
Yeah,
I was going to dodge.
Okay, cool. So you get back up against that sconce that's up on these kind of like metal rails, and you kind of hide back around it, and you're like, you're ready to, at any time if something were to come towards you, just duck back into the cage and get yourself out of the way. After Druella, Magnus, you're up. right there, right in front of you, you see this thing, and these tentacles are moving forward in front of you.
All right, I'm going to take my attack with my Berserker Axe, and I got Nat 17, which hits, right?
It does, yep.
And then a 16 hit.
Yeah, both hit.
All right, and a D12, 2 and 9. 2 and 9 plus 5.
16?
14. Well, I get 2 attacks, right?
Mm-hmm.
They're both plus 5. 7 and 14 is 21.
Mm-hmm.
Then I am going to use...
Hold on. What's the total? What's the total of those?
21.
21. Okay.
Yep. Then I'm going to use the D8 that I was just gifted. Plus 6 is 27. I know I keep switching in and out, but I have a superiority dice.
Mm-hmm.
There's one more D8.
Yeah.
So that's plus 5. So 32 damage altogether is what I'm gifting this creature. And I want to focus it all on like the hard stabilized crystals that I can see.
Okay. And you're using your axe as you do this?
Yeah.
And what superiority, what combat maneuver are you using to add that die? Is there an additional effect to it?
No additional effect.
Okay.
Just I learned maneuvers fueled by superiority dice. Maneuvers enhanced in attack in some way.
All right. They usually have some sort of extra ability that goes onto them, like where you get to add the damage and push them away. I don't know, Logan, do you know which ones he had in there?
Oh, yeah, that's right. I got those right here. Let's do the the trip attack. Let's do the trip attack, even though it seems silly because it's a glot. No. Yeah.
It doesn't look like something you could really trip, so I'd be careful with that. Yeah, it's like a blob on the ground, like a pile of things almost.
Disarming attack. When you hit with a weapon attack, you can expend 1 superior die to add it to the damage and to disarm the target. So if it's armed in any way, it will be disarmed.
It is not armed either. It is just itself. It's naked.
So is that before I made that decision, is what you're saying?
I'll let you. You would know how to use this. This is the first time that Quentin's played a Battle Master, so that's all right. And by the way, person with the number, Sammy. It's okay now that I know, but still, be careful.
How about this? I'll do the extra attack. You can attack twice whenever you take the attack action on your turn, which is not the action surge.
You already attacked twice. We'll just add it. We'll add the damage. That's good. We're good with that.
All right.
So you rear up with your axe, and you move in on it just as one of its pseudopods is moving out with this crystalline ending and swinging towards you, and you just shatter it across the front, and it just smashes. This blue and white crystal just bounces across the ground, kind of cluttering and scattering into the corner of this hall. And you swing back down again and also chop off another portion of it as this crystal just scatters across the ground. It is not. It still looks like sturdy and threatening, but you've done a good amount of work to it. Are you going to move after that?
Will it do a opportunity attack?
It would.
Then I'm not going to move. I'm going to use my second wind bonus action and regain 1d10.
Awesome. Yeah, that's great. You can go ahead and roll that. After Magnus, after you blast into this creature twice with your axe, Druella, from where you are, you notice skidwise, kind of run up here and run behind one of the sconces next to you. He kind of leans forward and he grabs the sides of his head. Let's see here. Cool. He leans forward and he grabs the sides of his head, and you hear this little whining sound start coming out of Skidwise's head as he's holding the edges of it and kind of leaning forward. And the protoplasm needs to make a Constitution saving throw, in which it rolls a 5 plus 3, it rolls an 8, and it fails as it takes 10 psychic damage as Skidwise sends this loud, shrill sound just out towards the protoplasm, and you see it, and it just starts kind of like malfunctioning as the sound is cascading through the hallway, and then Skidwise stops grabbing his head and he turns around and looks at you and gives you 2 thumbs up and just presses up against the wall. So that's the end of Skidwise's turn. This protoplasm is going to make 2 attacks against Magnus from where it is. And that is a... Let's see what its to hit is. That is a 24 to hit with 1, which I'm going to assume hits. And the second one was a natural 1. So you are going to take... Damn. 14 bludgeoning and force damage, Magnus, as it whips out this pseudopod with this crystal on the end, and it collides with your leg. You feel your knee buckle in from the side, and I need you to make a dexterity saving throw as it tries to transport one of your items away from you.
18.
And you barely pull yourself out of the way, it being unable to. You feel this attractive force from the crystals as it's trying to snatch these things from your from your person. And at this moment, falling from the ceiling in the middle of the area, another protoplasm hits the ground. Its pseudopod's kind of moving side to side outside of it. This one is not hexed. And it is going to, not knowing that you dodged, Druella, it's going to come up and approach you and try to make an attack, which it does with disadvantage. It got a natural 20 and a 5. So since it has disadvantage, that's an 11 to hit. Does that hit you?
No.
And again, a 13 to hit. Would that hit you?
It does not.
All right, so this other protoplasm slams into the ground, and you hear that sound as it starts moving towards you. These crystals emerging from its body, and 2 times these long, kind of like almost like tentacles, move off of it with these crystals at the end, and one smashes into the cauldron, the lamp sort of thing next to you. Bam! And the other one smashes into the ground, both splintering the tile, and as the tile breaks, it disappears. And it is unsuccessful with both of its hits, and that's the end of the protoplasm's turns, and we're back up to Tragadon. Tragadon. You see this other creature kind of shifting in front of you now.
Oh my gosh, are you kidding me? Another one, 2 of them. Okay, I'm gonna move out and I'm gonna shoot him.
Okay, you only need to go.
Not that close. Well, can I shoot from like kind of like?
You can be from here.
From in the doorway? Yeah, that's where I'd like to be.
Yeah, it's big enough. You can see it from there.
Okay. So, 24 to hit.
That hits for sure.
And, well, I don't need to be hidden because I have someone who is within 5 feet. So,
hold on, everyone. 1 second. I'm going to stop sharing the screen. I'm going to share again. And tell me if you hear the music.
Yeah.
yeah.
Is it too loud?
Slightly loud, yeah.
How's that?
Better? I've been pretty chill, yeah.
People in the chat, tell me if that's too loud.
Okay.
17 damage with sneak attack,
And I'm gonna use
Dang,
the
17
small to do an additional 5 damage.
So what's that, 22?
22.
Okay, so what does that look like as you kind of slide back against the bars and pull your crossbow out?
I'm gonna run across the doorway from one side to the other, and right when I get into the open doorway, I'm gonna go, "Oh my god, another one!" and shoot at it, and then slink back to the other side of the doorway and like tuck in that corner and hide.
Okay, so as you do that, the bolt just shoots out from in between two of the bars, and it sticks into a part of the protoplasm, and you see that part just crystallize, like the inside of a geode around it, and the crystals just kind of crack and slough off as your crossbow bolt hits the ground next to it. Beautiful. Is that the end of your turn, Trog?
Yeah, well, hide bonus action 24.
All right, let's put you back out of sight, right? To hide.
Yeah.
Athalia, you're up.
How's Magnus looking?
I don't know, Magnus. How's he looking?
I'm okay. I'm hurting, but I'm okay.
Okay.
I'm going to turn the music up a little bit based on chat. Sammy said the music, you can barely hear it, but she's just here for the blonde. So I was like so pissed when I first saw that message. I was like, who is this fucking punk in here that's already hitting on Shelby? We just started, and now it ends up that it's Shelby's best friend. So there we go.
How's that protoplasm in front of Magnus look?
That one in front of Magnus is much more rock candy-ish. Gotcha. Much more rock candy-ish than the one that's in front of Druella. This one's like its crystalline structure is sort of showing itself more, while the other one is a lot more liquid.
Okay. I might split up my attacks depending on what happens.
Okay.
Take it all from me.
18 to hit.
Yeah, that hits.
All right. This will be with Hex.
Yeah, it's already hexed. You got it.
All right. So, hang on a second. Damn it. Okay. 2, 3, 5 damage.
Okay.
And then 19 to hit. That hits. 7 more damage.
Nice. All right, it's really starting to seem glitchy. The sounds that it's making are becoming more erratic and more chaotic, and its body will kind of like form into a crystal, and the crystal will fall off of it and hit the ground and shatter, and then turn back into a liquid and sink back into itself. But it's like it's like splashing and barely holding itself together. Is that the end of your turn, Athalia?
Yes.
Okay, I think you would have probably had to move out to like here to get those shots off well. You want to tuck back in?
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, no, wait a minute. Hold on. I need to see how far am I from Magnus?
30 feet exactly from right here.
Yeah, I want to stay that far away. Exactly 30 feet.
Okay, perfect. Ask Athalia. Ruella's up and Magnus is on deck. What's up,
Okay,
Turtle?
it's my turn now?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, so as my bonus action, I'm going to use, what is it called? I have an ability, Universal Speech, as my bonus action.
Okay.
So I can use one of my Bardic Inspiration dice. I roll it, and then I get to pick a number of creatures within 60 feet of me. And for 10 minutes, they can magically understand you, regardless of the language you speak. And I have advantage on charisma checks made to influence.
All right. What the hell kind of bard are you?
I actually have no idea.
She's I think she's that UA bard, the Unearthed Arcana bard, College of Eloquence.
That's crazy. Okay, cool. Druella, just so you know, just in starting to speak with this creature, it is like, it's going to be possible, but it is barely smarter than talking to like an actual like succulent. Like it's like not so much of an animal, really. I mean, it has an intelligence of 1. It's like really about as dumb as it can be before being inanimate. But I'll let you attempt it because that's a really weird and cool ability. So what are you going to try and say to it?
Okay, wait. Okay, by the way, I rolled a 2.
Mm-hmm.
So it doesn't. Oh, so I can do it to both of them because it's within 60 feet.
Great.
Okay, so I'm going to say, excuse me.
Wrong voice.
Oh, yeah, it's Hana. Hey, man. You come to the wrong place. Food, water, that way.
And I just point in another direction.
Okay. All right. Meg, you have advantage on a charisma check against them? Is that right?
Yes.
All right. Go ahead and make a charisma check with advantage. You can do a persuasion, I suppose. Protoplasm handling check.
Okay. Oh, that's my best thing that I could possibly do. That is a
What, 20?
28.
Wow.
Whoa.
Oh, God. How do these things respond to that? I don't think they would have any way of understanding you. I don't think they could possibly grasp, even though they can hear you and they know it's like some sort of communication. I don't think they can possibly grasp even the concept of you telling them to go specifically somewhere. But the movement of your arm in such a grandiose way, with the convincingness of your rugged Massachusetts sort of accent, as you swing your arm away, they both start to kind of recoil away from you. So they're doing something in reaction. I don't know if they know that food and water is what you're talking about, but they are does certainly look like on their turn they're going to react to you in some way. Okay?
Okay, I'm going to use my regular action to dodge again.
Okay, great idea. You're in the firing line. All right, after Druella, we've got Magnanimous. You're up.
How's the one in front of me looking?
The one in front of you is looking pretty slammed. It's like I said, it's like building itself back up with this kind of iridescent ooze, and then it will harden and smash on the ground and kind of wave back into itself. It's really looking like it's having trouble holding its form together.
Sweet. Trogodoink, when I make this action surge, do I have to be successful on my first 2 rolls to do it? Or is it completely separate?
No, when you use action surge, you just take 2 actions.
All right, sweet. I might have to split this up, DM. Does a 12 hit?
A 12 does hit. It just hits, yeah.
All right, so I got 2 12s, and then I'm going to use action surge.
Okay.
And I get to go 2 times again, and I got a nat 20 and a 9.
Wow.
Damn.
Okay. The 9 does not hit. All the other ones do. And I would wait. Let's roll them one at a time because you might want to move and split those attacks up.
Yep. 10 and 10. That's 20. That's 30. So 30 damage points.
Damage points for what? For the first 2 attacks or for the first attack?
For the first 2 attacks.
Okay, so the first 2 attacks. How do you want to take this one out, Magnus?
Ooh. Really trying to get that big toe incorporated in there somehow.
Let's
So
hear
I'm
it.
thinking maybe like
Let's hear it.
a classic Ahana and like grab my axe and then tap my toe on the ground like you shouldn't have done that. And then just come through with the Berserker axe.
Okay, so you grab your axe and you tap your toe on the ground. It's almost like the world slows down around Magnus as he pulls his axe back up. And you see the camera zooms in on this toe with this tuft of hair by this big gnarled toenail. And the toe bing, just hits the tile, and the tile cracks under the strength of that toe as it propels you forward. And we move back into normal speed as the axe just cleaves the protoplasm in half, and its body hardens. And let's see here. It explodes across the ground. And as it does, you hear this, the sound of the night, as it explodes in this weird, like suctioning visual as the world kind of distorts itself into this little pocket, and this pop happens. And as that pop happens, just a ton of shit, bam, splashes out. into the world. You see the spear that was taken from you across the ground. Additionally, you see something that looks like a mirror, a stool, an ivory stool hits the ground, sets of armor, daggers, a battle axe, a pouch, all of this stuff, it's like dumping out a crate onto the ground as it explodes, and all of this stuff just kind of crashes across the ground in front of you, Magnus. And you still have shit left to do, though. And you turn around in 5, 10, 15. You can make it over to the other one if you'd like.
Yeah, I run over to it, and that's where I'm going to use my nat 20. So I don't know what you want me to do with that one. Just D12 plus 5.
We have a nasty. Hold on. We have a nasty echo. Somebody said. That was probably it. Let me know if it's still happening. Thanks for letting us know. And hi, Noah. All right. So what do you do? What damage do you do with the crit?
Well, do I just do my D12 plus 5 twice, or do you want me to roll for the first one? How are we doing that?
Just go ahead and roll double.
A 10 and a 17.
A 10 and a 17.
Or 10 and a 7 equals 7.
I was like, you rolled a 17 on a D12? Damn.
27.
How many?
27.
All right, hold on. 85 minus 29. All right. And so riding on the energy of cleaving this creature in half and seeing all of this stuff just erupt out of its body, you swivel around on your other big toe and just leap off the ground and smash your axe against it, shattering crystals across the ground. As this happens, Skidwise is going to turn and seeing you run up to it and seeing that you got a little beat up by the last one, and knowing that you saved it from the web and you carried Skidwise around for a while, he's going to run up and try to make a claw attack as he swings his yellow hand with these kind of like nubby claws on the end of it towards the creature, and he does hit. And the creature takes 6 slashing damage as he kind of claws against it, and he looks towards you, and you just see him with this look of like, we're doing it, but silently. This little yellow creature with this triangular-shaped head kind of just raging out on this crystalline pudding in front of you. And now it is the protoplasm's turn, this second protoplasm's turn. He has been convinced by Druella that he needs to, in some way, move away from her. It's not quite sure how what exactly she was referring to, and you are now directly in its path. So it's going to 5, 10, 15, move up to here. Druella, you can take an opportunity attack if you have anything to do it with.
Yes, I will. Oh, probably not.
Would I also get one since he's moving like around me?
He's still in range with you, but Skidwise would get another one, and he just hit, actually.
Only a 14.
Only a 14. Okay. A 14 to hit?
Yeah.
That hits, actually. It's not a hard thing to hit.
Right. Okay. 16.
Someone's like slamming shit. What'd you say?
Sorry.
What was the damage, Druella?
6.
Okay.
Magnus just gets so excited, you know?
He does.
I was drumming.
This thing swirls around the corner, getting. What kind of weapon do you have, Druella?
Actually, it turns out I had a long sword this whole time.
Druella pulls out this giant sword for her small turtle body from a sack on her back and just swings it at the creature, just carving through the edge of it as the Skidwise claws up towards it, and it just starts sliding away and turns and boom, with 2 swings, it swings back at you, Magnus. The first one missing completely. The second one is a 17 to hit. Does that hit?
Does not hit.
Damn! And you dodge it as this happens, its pseudopod hits the ground next to you. It's shattering with crystal. And because I forgot about this ability, its main ability for the whole fight, it disappears and appears on the ceiling above you, 15 feet up, clung to the ceiling. The creature misty steps and appears on the ceiling. It is no longer on the ground, 15 feet over you, Magnus, and you do not get a chance to opportunity attack it since it teleports. Trogodoink, you're up. This creature is now hanging from the ceiling, its crystalline pseudopods kind of swinging below it.
Oh, it must be running away. I'm going to shoot it again.
17 to hit.
That hits.
I don't remember what my stealth roll was last round, but am I hidden from it?
Did you roll it last time?
I did, yeah. I hid, and I forget what I rolled.
24.
Let me double check.
Is that right?
I believe it. Yeah, you're with a 24. You're definitely hidden from it.
Okay. Um. 18 piercing damage.
Exactly how much crystal was left on the protoplasm. How do you want to finish off the second protoplasm? Trogodoink.
Ooh, okay. So I'm gonna run out and I'm gonna say,
Magnus, hold on. You're getting too hurt. You need to back up. He's trying to run away. Watch out.
and I kind of like just try and aim at the thing as best as I can and be like, I got it, and then just pull the trigger on the crossbow and shoot him.
Okay, so you back your way up into the hallway, Magnus, Magnus, yelling at him. You swing your crossbow up, and it's kind of moving across the ceiling away from you, and you kind of, with a turning, a rotation of your crossbow, this bolt shoots out, and its body kind of stretches apart and has this one like sinewy piece of crystal that's holding it together, and you shatter that in the middle, and it and just rains down below you. All of this, just all of the crystal falls down in this almost like fine misting of quartz, like white and blue crystal that just shatters down to the ground, and then you hear, and out from its interplanar containment, this just falling of other items shatter out from it on the ground, and now where you're standing, Magnus and Trogodoink particularly, there's just stuff all over the ground that has somehow ejected from these creatures as you finished them off.
How was all of this stuff inside of this thing? What the heck is going on? What were we looking for again specifically?
You guys remember that the package that was to be delivered to the Misted Vale, the place that the rat could show you the way to, was in a black, some sort of black leather satchel.
Yeah, I remember that. Trogodoink just doesn't, for sure.
For sure.
Looking for the satchel.
Okay. So as you start looking through the items here, you notice that there are 4 sets of leather armor. I don't know. Do you guys want to pick all this stuff up? Some of it's valuable. I'll just read off the list of all the stuff. It's not hard to go through. I'm going to read off a list of stuff, and you guys can decide what you want to keep.
I'll keep track.
There's a copper mirror. It's worth about 20 gold pieces. There's an ivory stool, and underneath, on the bottom side of the stool, engraved in it says Ted's Beds.
I want the stool.
Okay, yeah, it's like a squat little short ivory stool somehow.
I'm gonna take it and put the mouse or rat cage on top of it.
Okay, so for now, you set the rat cage on top of the stool. There are 4 sets of leather armor, 4 sets of common clothing. You find 3 short swords in decent repair. They don't look great. 2 daggers, a battle axe, a dented shield
and this is actually hysterical because this was written into the adventure before Magnus Big Toe was created, but a dented shield with a foot embossed on the front of the shield. It's true. A tan cloth bag that contains 375 gold.
Oh,
which was the original payment. The original payment given to Akra's men. She did mention that to you before, that you could take the payment that they had lost. And then a long black leather satchel. So that's all the stuff that kind of just ejected out of these creatures and is just laying all over the ground. For you to carry all of that armor, all of those battle axes, the short swords, everything, like it's going to be an ordeal. That's a lot of stuff. So what do you could if you wanted, but you guys are going to be a little bit burdened. This isn't our other campaign where you have like infinity bags of gold.
I think we should just take the gold in the satchel. And
I
the
think we
stool.
should. Yeah, and the stool and the mirror.
Yeah, definitely the mirror.
I'm gonna take
the
the
mirror.
shield.
Drella, you want this mirror?
Hey man, yeah, I think yeah, I gotta look at these good looks all the time, so please hand it over.
This turtle says with her hand out, looking to receive the mirror.
Yeah, it will help you. It will make it easier to polish your shell.
That's a pretty true. Thank you very much.
I didn't realize, but you guys kind of sound like you're from the same place. Wherever that place is, it sounds like you're from the same weird.
Who knows?
Yeah. Cool. So you guys retrieve these items, and as you do so, you start picking these things up. You notice that there's a little bit of a rattle in the cage, and Athelia, you kind of glance over to the stool where the cage is sitting, and the mouse is kind of like butting its head against the bars.
What's up, boy?
And it kind of slams its head against the bar and kind of like lifts up on its front feet or on its back feet with its front hands. Kind of, you know how they have almost little hands like kind of gripping the bars.
Yeah, I look around at is everybody ready? Because I think he is.
Yeah, I grab my shield.
I open the cage.
Okay. You open the cage, and the rat comes out of the cage. And it looks around, kind of confused about its surroundings, like it's never been in this part of the shifting halls. And it kind of walks in a little bit of a tight circle on the ground, smelling the floor. He cocks his head curiously. And then in a flash of white fur and pink feet, the rat takes off in an unexpected direction with a surprising burst of energy. In a moment, he's already rounding the nearest corner. We're in a chase. Everybody starts running towards this rat. Are you guys following the rat?
Yeah.
Heck yeah.
Okay, you guys all take off after the rat, running after it. I'm going to go with the same initiative here. Trogodoink, I need you to roll a d20.
I grabbed Skidwise too, by the way.
Okay, you snatch him up. You got a 2?
2.
Okay. As you're running, you guys are just taking off down the hall after this rat, and it's moving its way through. And Athelia, you're right there behind Trogodoink as he's running, and right next to you, a door bursts open with a raging sandstorm on the other side of this door in the shifting halls. I need you to make a Constitution saving throw.
Yeah. 4.
Damn, you get blasted in the face by this sand, and you can't see anything for a moment as the sand blasts through this open door, and the door is just kind of batting as the sand is bursting into the hole, and you guys continue taking off after the rat. Your speed is halved while you continue running, Athelia, and you start kind of falling to the back of the line. I need you to roll a d22. Drella, you're next. We got to keep the pace up on this. You've only got a few minutes. You're chasing after the rat down the hall.
Wait, you need me to roll a d20?
Yep, roll a d20. You're just running, just a flat d20 roll.
12.
12. Okay, so you kind of push through, and the rest of the group is moving ahead of you, but you can hear their footsteps, and you can kind of see through the haze of the sand that blinded you as you continue to run. Druella, I need a d20 roll from you.
11.
11. So same with you. You guys keep charging forward. And Magnus?
7.
7. You continue running, and as you're holding Skidwise in your arms, you kind of look back and you see Athelia kind of lagging behind. and you come up to a corner and you kind of skid around it, and you notice up ahead of you there's a really sharp turn, but also Troggerdoink has his back turned and is looking at you. You're all kind of checking in on each other as you race after this rat. And Troggerdoink, there was a sharp curve in front of you that you didn't notice, and I need you to make a dexterity saving throw.
24.
24. You look just in time, and deftly you swivel around the corner and continue your way forward. Everyone continues running. Troggerdoink, I need another d20 from you.
14.
14. You make your way forward, and as you kind of like stop around this edge, and you see this rat just its paws up against the door, this black door with moss growing on the edges and a little bit of mist creeping out from underneath, and the rat is just kind of scratching on it, stopped there. And Athalia, you're last in the line, but you kind of catch up to the rest of the group as everybody's there at this door. You guys all kind of stop. Skidwise still in Magnus's arms, and this iron rimmed door sits in front of you with this mist just softly creeping in from the bottom across the ground.
I'm not opening that thing. That looks scary. You someone else do it.
Didn't we just have to leave the satchel at the door?
You're supposed to hand it to the people waiting for you on the other side of the door.
I walk up. I turn the handle.
Okay.
Yeah, this is your kind of place. That's good.
The door creaks open, and a cool fog creeps into the hall. A dark-haired man and woman smile welcomingly on the other side of the doorway. Behind them can be seen a beautiful lavender sky framed by the silhouettes of dark trees, a small campfire, and a covered wagon adorned with banners and lanterns that bob in a silent breeze. The woman standing on the other side with the dark hair opens her arms, and the white rat leaps up into her arms and kind of burrows himself into the crook of her arm, and she says, "Oh, there you are, Zazzle," she says, scratching him on his head with a long, dark nail. You notice the man next to her, well-dressed, standing up straight. "You have the black pouch, I presume?" the man asks, extending both of his pale hands towards the door.
Athalia holds it up and out, and right at the at the archway of the door. So he's gonna have to take it from my hand.
He leans forward, and his hands reach out into the hallway, the mist kind of coming out with him as he reaches and he grabs this black pouch from you. "Perfect. Thank you very much. I appreciate it." And he smiles and kind of tucks it under his arm. "We will be very happy to report to Akra that you have completed your job. It took you longer than expected." And as he's saying this, you see the woman is tying this purple ribbon around the rat's neck and ties a little bow on it and drops the rat down to the ground, and the rat moves forward. And she says, "The ribbon will tell Akra that you have completed your job. The rat knows where to go. Goodbye, Zazzle." And the rat kind of looks over its shoulder and starts walking away down the hallway. What do we do?
I lean over to Jarell and I say, "Wait,
So you're telling me we could have just tied a rat around that ribbon's neck this whole time and gotten paid anyways?
Wait, you're
Tied
gonna
a rat
tie
around the
rat
ribbon's
around
neck.
the ribbon's neck?
Oh, the ribbon around the rat's neck, whatever you mean.
Yeah, I mean,
wait. So, are they still standing there?
Yeah, they're standing in the doorway. The man has received the package, and the woman just set the rat down on the ground. And they're both kind of looking at you like this. You see this dark night behind them with kind of like a caravan, sort of a carriage behind them that has these lanterns hanging and casting this kind of orange glow out from it.
So, are you like a circus or something?
The man smiles. Make a perception check, Athalia.
Nat 20.
Hey, 20. You notice just barely as he smiles that his and this is something that's familiar to you, Athalia, because of your backstory, but he has fanged teeth in the front. And he smiles and he says, "Merely traveling merchants. We are not a circus. Neither of us perform. But if the money was right," and he looks at the woman, "the money was right, Sublimina. I'm sure you could put on a show." And she kind of puts her hand out and says, "Oh, be off with you." And they both kind of stand there smiling at you. "No circus, sir. But come back anytime you would like. We welcome visitors in the Misted Vale."
What's in all the wagons?
Oh, we live in this wagon, and the other one is goods that we are traveling to sell to our lord.
What kind of goods?
Things from different planes. Akra brings us all sorts. Some of them mundane, and some of them beautiful, like what you handed us.
More importantly, what kind of lord?
What kind of what?
You said goods to your lord. More importantly than the goods you're selling, what kind of lord are you taking them to?
They both kind of smile. Ah, here, where we live, there are many dread lords that hold power over the different areas. And our lord is from the place where this package originally came from. So he will be happy to have a little taste of his home. I dare not speak his name into the shifting halls, but you come back, sit around the campfire, and we close this door. Sometime I will tell you more. Thank you for your work. You don't want to keep Akra waiting, do you?
No, I'm ready to get paid and have a stiff drink.
Smiles, grabs the door handle. Enjoy your day, and starts pulling the door closed. And you see this mist kind of like billow out from the door as they close it with a latching sound. And you see the rat, now you know its name is Zazzle, kind of walking away from you down the hallway.
I'm following Zazzle.
Yeah, following.
Okay. You follow Zazzle for a little while, but it seems a lot shorter than the distance on the way out. All of the things that you encountered and the weird things you saw moving through the shifting halls on your way to find the protoplasm. Magnus, you're kind of dragging a little bit with some of the injuries from the fight as you follow this white rat, and all of a sudden, you find yourselves in that 5-way intersection again, where that big stone statue is, and you see the other watchers, Grail and Elliot. And the little half-orc kid, and they're sitting there on the edge of this statue, and they're all looking up as this large Minotaur man is standing there wearing kind of a finery, like a nice coat, and he's reading from this book to them. A Minotaur in noble dress stands by the stone dais beneath the statue, reading from a large leather-bound tome. A small crowd of the young watchers surround him. And Kaj, the small gnome that gave you the original request to find the Fey Glade, sits cross-legged at the front of the group, enraptured by the story. As you approach, the Minotaur looks up and slowly closes the book. Your friend gave me a book I've been looking for. It's hard to find something I haven't read. I'm going to show you and your friends to the Fey Glade, right? That was the trade? And you see Kaj leap up, the little gnome who had originally asked you so long ago now, through all of these winding relationships with these people that you've met, to show him to his love in the Fey Glade. And you see the little gnome with his little gold glasses and the big short sword on his back kind of perk up and look at you. I'm so glad that you guys you made it back okay. It looks like everything's fine. And he said the Akra gave this book to the Minotaur. He's going to show me the way. And you see him hold that golden beetle pendant that he has in his hands. And I'll follow through with my deal. He takes it off of his neck. When we get to the door, the pendant will be yours. Okay, are we ready to go? And you see him kind of push his glasses off, and his cheeks are red. You see a little bit of tears like welling in the sides of his eyes. I can't wait. I can't wait. The Minotaur kind of just stands, and his hoof taps as he puts the book under his arm, and you see Skidwise run back to the other watchers and just start gesturing like he's saying something to them, but no sounds are coming out of his mouth, and they're all just kind of nodding. Yeah, okay.
I'll walk over.
Do we pay him?
I want to give him his 2 gold that we owe him.
You tap him on the shoulder, and it seems like he was so excited to get back to his friends and explain this adventure that he had completely forgotten what was owed to him. And as you put this 2 gold in his hand, he kind of looks up at you and nods vigorously. He puts it into his little pouch with the eye on it on his chest, and he sticks his hand up to you, Athalia.
Like a high five?
Like this.
Oh, I lean over and I shake his hand, and
his arm kind of jiggles like when you shake a little kid's hand. He's kind of, and he nods and he runs over to you, Magnus, and just hugs you around the leg.
When he comes up to me, I'm gonna give him like 10 gold pieces out of my
Whoa.
share of that gold.
Okay. And he holds it, and it's like falling through his fingers, and he leans over and picks it up, and you see the other kids kind of cross their arms and lean over, and they're like, remember to pay your dues, Skidwise. And he kind of holds it to his chest and looks at them.
As soon as they say that, I say, that's his. He's hearing that.
Make an intimidation check.
I swear on this like dice roller, I roll 7s and 14s.
Hey, those aren't bad.
9.
Okay, they kind of shrink back a little bit, but it looks like they're just holding it back while you're around. And Skidwise puts the money in his chest, and he smiles and nods at you.
I pat him on the back.
And he kind of
Skidwise.
hits him forward. And the Minotaur says, so, are we ready? And he starts walking away down this hall with his big leather tome under his arm.
I'm ready.
Do we need to check in with Akra first? Or no?
No, the rat's gonna do it.
And you actually noticed that Zazzle had turned the corner and continued to run off.
All right.
You follow this large, kind of broad-shouldered Minotaur character. His horns kind of curl up and pierce forward. He has like a little bit of a ruffled shirt under a nice high-collared coat. And he continues walking forward, and you see Cadge with his green hat and his armor on, just red-faced, white beard, just chasing after this Minotaur. And it seems like it's only moments, and you're in a completely different part of the halls. It's something that you've never seen before, a strange surroundings. And in front of you, this door adorned with golden leaves, just twisting and wrapping around the edges. And you see, instantly, you see Cadge. Here, golden leaves decorate the edges of the arched doorway before you. Cadge removes his golden beetle pendant with a shaking hand, and he comes up to you, Druella, and places it in your hand. This golden beetle pendant. Remember to sing to it in the moonlight, he says. I can't thank you enough. And he looks at each of you, and he rubs his eyes beneath his glasses before turning towards the door and pushing it open. And as the door pushes open in the glade, fireflies linger over a still silver pond. Huge flowers seem to bow in from out of view as Cadge steps forward timidly, and he moves slowly away from the door into the colorful wood. You see him walking towards this silver pond, and he looks over his shoulder, and there's a blast of flowers whoosh, from the side off in the woods. This blast of flowers, the butterflies scatter, and all of a sudden, this woman, I'll share. This woman's figure appears whoosh, next to Cadge. Where is she? Ooh, ooh, ooh. As the Fey Princess Terrestra appears next to him and embraces this little gnome and lifts him up off the ground. She holds him for a second and squeezes him and looks towards the doorway where you're all standing there, the Minotaur kind of leaning through the doorway looking. And she starts to approach. She kind of puts him back down and puts her hands on his shoulders and starts to approach, like walking through this beautiful glade, these woods, walking towards you where you're standing in the hallway. What are we doing? Anyone doing anything? I still have battle music on, I realize.
Hey, isn't this the way we were gonna go look for the beekeepers?
Was it? I can't remember.
Yeah, the
Where the
beekeepers
devil-
were from the
Where the
Feywild.
devil told us to go.
Yeah, he was going to pay us 750 gold if we can bring his satchel back, or his sack. You guys want 750 gold?
Yeah, man.
Me too.
And you see this beautiful Fey woman, long ears, dark like blue to gray skin, approach the door, and she's holding this long scroll case. And she says, "I have a message for you, if you could hold on to it. I figure if you're strong enough to bring Cadge back to me, you're strong enough to bear its weight." And she holds this case out into the doorway. She kind of looks at you, Magnus, and kind of tilts her head.
I receive it.
She crosses her hands. are you thinking about coming into the glade?
We'd have to
Awesome.
buy a watcher.
Well, she smiles. We'll be here. And she kind of looks over his shoulder, or her shoulder, and you see Cad just already taking off his armor and kind of like stripping off pieces of his armor. And it looks like he's like trying to jump into the spring there, this beautiful kind of like silver crystal pond. He's like stripping off his armor, just totally excited. These butterflies and fireflies kind of lingering around in the sky around him.
Who was the message for?
The message was originally for me, and I had thought for a long time it was for Kaj. That's the name of the gnome. But it seems that it may be for you. The Minotaur says, well, I've had enough of elves. Good to see you. And he turns and the Minotaur just starts walking away. His hooves walking down the hallway away.
Do we want to go in there?
I do, but we have to buy a watcher.
Well, we can go get Skidwise.
Yeah, so someone has to hang out here and watch this door. And someone has to go get Skidwise. And then we can go in.
I'll go get Skidwise.
Okay.
So
You said, Druella?
I'm good at watching.
Druella says that, crosses her arms, and just stares at the doorway as the Fey woman kind of raises her hand and says, well, as long as you watch it, we'll be on the other side. And she closes the door, these golden leaves kind of shimmering that are all kind of embedded into the sides of the door. And Druella stands with her arms crossed like this after saying, I'm good at watching, just staring at the doorway as Magnus starts making his way back, kind of following behind the Minotaur towards the intersection to go find Skidwise. Athalia.
I want to stop and look back at Druella and say, don't fall asleep now.
Well, what? No, I'm awake.
And with that, before traveling into the Fey Glade to seek your revenge against the Sylvan beekeepers and see what other adventures lie there ahead of you in the Fey realms, that's where we're going to end the session tonight. Woohoo! Got the golden beetle pendant. You got Kaj back to where he was going. You got
What's my note say, man?
What'd you say?
What's my note say? Can I read the note before we end?
Oh, sure. Yeah, we can read the note before we end it.
All right. Let's do it.
So you pull the note out and you unravel it, and it says, I can just share my screen here. Look. Slowly the wide web unwinds, not through wind or wave or time, but through elsewhere's watchful eye. And lest the sighted tie the knots, the spiderlings are all forgot, each little strand of web alone, unraveling the traveler's home. So mark them with that icy kiss, found only in Xander's bliss. Blind the eye that dreams unknotted, with the words of kingdoms rotted. A strange, mysterious, fey-ish poem. Beautiful script and kind of like a light blue paper in your hands. So that's where we'll end. You're reading that as you walk towards the intersection, and you see Skidwise standing there with the rest of the group. So I want to stop us. Thank you guys for coming and ending all of the crazy shit that Logan and I have been doing all weekend. If anyone's still watching, Noah, Sam, Sammy, Gentleman Game Master, the other 6 people that may or may not be real. I'm glad that you guys were all here. Whoever was involved in the streams this weekend, everyone who was in the Discord, any of the people who had shops on the crowd control site, everyone put a lot into it, and hopefully some people got some stuff out of it. I had a really good time. It was really awesome meeting a lot of the people. I'm so stoked to not stream anything for a minute and just go back to regular life and not be on Zoom or on Twitch for at least the rest of the evening. And that's it. Does anyone have anything else to say? Logan, you want to say anything in closing at the end of Crowd Control Expo? It's your baby.
No, everything's great. Yeah, we had a lot of fun.
All right. Let's dance it out. Everybody dance it out. I'm stopping the stream.
Dun, 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 dun.